Hey, welcome to another episode of Gone with the Win. We've got the Critics' Choice and Globes to talk about today. We've also got some other smaller ones that they'll talk about. But as always, I've got Dan here. Dan, how's it going?
Oh, Malcolm, you have no idea. It's been a crazy week. The screenings and reviews and work and traffic and trying to make it here on time. And I almost didn't make it on time. So it's been a wild time. But when I make a commitment for something, I do it.
Also here we've got Wolf. Wolf, how's it going?
Tell me about traffic, Dan, because I straight up was getting gas somewhere. I went grocery shopping, then I went to go get gas, and I was like, okay, I'll head right home. It was 5:30 when I was pulling back out from the gas station, and I couldn't actually pull out to start heading back home until 5:41. And it was just like that ridiculous with how many cars were going and all that stuff. It was just, I was getting really irritated. But now that all my anger and irritation is behind me, I am very excited today and feeling more positive today because we have a lot to talk about. Some very interesting stuff that happened at these award shows. The Golden Globes again proving that they're kind of goated, but we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's really cool.
But first thing, just quickly, I'm going to talk about these because last time on the Golden Globes, we talked about the Hollywood Music and Media Awards. They haven't actually announced their winners since we last spoke. The winners of the Hollywood Music and Media Awards for Best Feature Film Song was I Lied to You by Sinners. The Best Indie Song was Highest to Lowest from Highest to Lowest. The Best Documentary Song was a DME from the Diane Warren documentary. The Animated Song was Golden by K-Pop Demon Hunters, once again, it's the obvious choice. Feature Film Score was Sinners, and Animated Film Score was Dogman. But Dan,
did you do a documentary, or did I miss it?
The documentary song was DME from Diane Warren.
She's back. Diane Warren.
But Dan, what are your thoughts about the winners for the Hollywood Music and Media Awards?
Yeah, this is par for the course. This is basically what we thought would happen. I mean, there's no surprises here, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, really. I mean, Golden, it's going to position itself as a probably the best song going forward, and maybe one of the Sinners songs is kind of helping out. But obviously, Diane Warren, these are three of the probably five nominees you're going to see for the Academy Awards, most likely.
I mean, we'll get more into the songs when we get to the Globes, but Wolf, what are your thoughts about the winners of the Hollywood Music and Media Awards?
Yeah, the thing with the Globes, they do 6, and the Oscars stupidly do 5. So, because of that, I think that they showed that, some of the a lot of the Globe songs, I don't know, you just slammed the door. That was really funny. But the Globes, they nominated the 2 Wicked songs. I don't know if that's going to be happening now because of Diane Warren, and she always getting it, her always getting in, and all this stuff. So it'll be interesting, though. This does shape up the race. I think it's a 2-horse race. I think Golden is going to win, but I think that it's now a toss-up between that and I Lied to You because so many people love I Lied to You and thought that was such an emotional part of the film.
Yeah, I mean, one of these days we'll get around to watching Sinners, but
it's really good, really
good. But yeah, I mean, I'm not that surprised. I'm still, it's one of those ones well, yes, the stats of Diane Warren always getting in is there. I'm still not that confident. This is it. She is going to get in this time around. I think there's a good, and I'll get more into my feelings on this when we get to the song category in the Globes. But I think that there's a chance that this might be the year she ends up missing. We'll see. But
bro, she got in for Applause, for that song called Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. Not a single soul even watched that movie, and she got in for that.
I've heard that song many times. It's a great song.
But did you watch
but once again, as I said with songs, they put foremost, probably only submit the songs to the Academy.
That's
You
true.
don't have to watch the movie to know the song.
That's a good point.
Because I've listened to the song from Sinners, even though I haven't seen Sinners. So yeah,
I've listened to Golden and I haven't seen K-pop
Yeah.
Demon Hunters.
Yeah. So no, that makes sense.
I mean,
most of them
to
are
be
in the
fair-
credits anyway. It's like most original songs. There's some of them that aren't, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Golden's not easy to escape from. I lied to you is not
true.
played on the. I lied to you is not played on the radio 100 times a day. Sometimes.
That's true. Yeah, I know. But it's gonna be interesting though, because remember, like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm Just Kin is totally gonna win," because it's the fun "I'm Just Kin" song, and then that was super popular, and then it was "What Was I Made For" from Barbie that won. So
yeah.
Don't get into it with me and Malcolm in songs, because we know all about Malcolm's favorite song from a couple of years ago called 80 for Brady. No, I'm joking. That was a running gag. Wolfman, it's a running gag.
Anyway, moving on from that, I'm going to lump two into one because they're pretty much the same thing. That's the documentary categories. We've got the PGA nominations for the documentary motion pictures come out this week, and then we've had the IDA awards come out. I'm only going to talk about the best feature from the IDAs. I'm not going to talk about every category in those. But in the PGA, the nominations for documentary motion pictures, we had The Alabama Solution, Cover Up, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, My Mum Jane, a film by Mushka Hargitay, Ocean by David Attenborough, The Perfect Neighbor, The Tale of Cillian. And over on the IDA side of things, for Best Feature Documentary, we've got Apocalypse in the Tropics, Life After, Seeds, Songs of Slow Burning Earth, The Tale of Cillian, which is the only one to have was in both branches. But Dan, what are your thoughts about these documentary nominations for the IDA and the PGA?
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to me because I thought maybe 2,000 Meters to Andreevka would be in here. It's my favorite documentary of the year, and it's still relevant. I know people are kind of sick of, maybe they're just kind of sick of the whole Ukraine war with the Russia, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, to me, I felt just crazy. I mean, it was like when I was watching, I was like, wow, these reporters are literally being shot at while they're embedded with these guys in this movie, and they're going through this forest and they end up in this town and the whole town's destroyed. All they do is find a cat. Why this isn't in there, I don't understand. Some of the other ones I have seen, not a fan of the neighbor one. I've spoken enough about it. I'm not going to get into it here, but I guess the Cillian one that you're talking about is one I'll have to watch because I don't think I've heard about this one. I have heard about the one Mariska Hargitay. Was it on HBO Max? I might have to check that one out if that's where it's on. I think I have access to that one. The other ones I have, Apocalypse in the Tropics, good documentary. A couple of the other ones I've seen. So I've seen a few, but a handful of the ones that are nominated. But the Cillian one I have not seen. That's the one on both lists. So I'll have to watch that one.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the documentary?
Yeah. So there's one I was surprised didn't make the PGA list, but also PGA is a bit more, I guess, a bit normie than I guess, or more like big scale than like this would be. But there's a 5-hour long documentary called like My Undesirable Friends Part 1 or something like that. It's about these like journalist girls who go in there, and these journalist women who go in there and like kind of disrupt the Putin kind of warfare and everything with their journalism. And it's just like, it's a big, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to be getting a screener for it because of the Independent Spirit Awards. So I am going to be seeing that one soon. So I was kind of surprised that one didn't pop up in here. The Tale of Cillian winning IDA is huge because IDA, and I've been an IDA member. I haven't seen Tale of Cillian yet. I need to watch it. But I know that when it comes to IDA winners, it is always probably the biggest precursor in terms of at least this film is going to get nominated. Not necessarily going to win, but for example, Forsama 1 was nominated. I think Flea 1, it got nominated. Then you had all these different ones just getting out. Ever since IDA started, every single winner that they've had, I think, except for maybe one, has gone on to be nominated at the Academy Awards. So they are very accurate in predicting this stuff. So I've taken out Tailocillion, and I've put in Tailocillion, and I've taken out the perfect neighbor. And I know y'all are all freaking out, and y'all are all screaming at me, and y'all are all saying, Wolf, how could you? That's going to win. You're going to take out the winner? Yes, because you know what we also said was going to win is Won't You Be My Neighbor? We said, all these other great ones are going to win too. That all Superman. Reeves, all these other ones. And they won the Critics' Choice Documentary Award and was never even nominated. And so as soon as Perfect Neighbor won that, I was like, it is out. It is done. It is gone. It would be like a historic thing if only 2 out of the 20 plus years or something the Critics' Choice Awards have been around have ever been nominated for Best Picture, 2 winners. Then it's just like that, or for Best Documentary. Then that's telling you this is in dangerous waters now. And so and the documentary branch loves to make huge snubs and crazy surprises in this category. So I think that for me, I am also surprised 2,000 meters to the Drivica wasn't here either. But for me, I think the winner of Best Documentary at the Oscars is actually going to be My Undesirable Friends Part 1. I think that's going to be a big shocker that no one's really expecting. That's going to come out of the gate, stuff like that. It's going to be one of the ones nominated and all that. So we'll see. But The Alabama Solution so far is my favorite documentary of the year.
It's a very good doc. Don't get me wrong. I liked it a lot.
Really hope that one
gets it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was going to kind of touch on because I kind of thought I'd bring up the PGA documentary and go back through going back through the PGA things they very rarely lined up for the Oscars. I was going through it I don't I think the only one that I was a lot of them I don't recognize a lot of the ones that kind of sort of lined up. The fact that Tailocillion got into both PGA and IDA, I'm willing to bet that's probably at least going to be nominated. I wouldn't be surprised if The Perfect Neighbor still gets nominated regardless. Because I have heard good things about it, even though I'm not a big fan of that documentary myself. But I can see it potentially still sneaking in there somehow. But yeah, I don't have a lot of thought to this. I haven't watched any of these documentaries. I'm not, when it comes to documentaries, I'm not a big one when it comes to seeing documentaries about wartime and stuff that's I've seen in the news many times because I've seen that a lot. I don't need to see it over and over again.
Yeah.
Did you see the one about the New Zealand Prime Minister though?
I haven't got around to it yet. I was meaning to go. I was meaning to go to the cinema, and honestly, that is one I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nominated at the Oscars. Honestly,
that would be amazing if that got it.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes the Oscar category fun is because other than now I feel confident in Tailocillion, I don't feel confident necessarily in any of the other picks because they always surprise and shock in that category.
Yeah, and the other thing that would be surprised, if it breaks into the Oscars, is Jacinda is actively going around promoting the documentary because I think it's about to be released in the UK and she was on the Graham Norton show recently, talking about it. So she is talking about it, and the Oscar voters might see that as let's check it out.
I tell you right now, Malcolm, from me to you, I'd have her be the president of the United States any day of the week and twice on Sunday. I'd take her right now as the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to the NBA, I was about to say the NBA awards. No, we're not doing sport awards here, even though Dan might want to. I don't even know if there's a sport awards out there for the NBA.
Not right now. ESPYs are in the summer.
But I'm going to talk about the NBR awards, National Board of Review. I'm only going to talk about the film categories, but I may touch on some of the acting ones too. We'll see. But the top 10 films that we had at the NBR is Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, J. Kelly, Marty Supreme, Rental Family, Sinners, Train Dreams, Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery, and Wicked for Good. And the winner is One Battle After Another, I believe, if I remember rightly. Yes, it was. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the top 10 films at the NBR?
I'll tell you what, NBR is usually a very good precursor. No matter what anybody tells you, they do a really good job. They usually get 8 out of 9 or 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 when it comes to the 10 most of the films that the Academy goes for. I think one of these 10 are not going to be in the 10 for 2 of these 10 will not be in the 10 for the Academy Awards for Best Picture, but I applaud them that they put them in the list. I've seen all 10 of these, and my favorite movie of the year is in here, and probably about 5 of my top 10 are in here. So I love the list. I like what NBR is doing. They're doing some good stuff.
Wolf, what are your thoughts about the top 10 films? Or top 11 if you include the winner being One Battle of which weirdly enough they don't put in the top 10 films. So I don't know. But what are your thoughts?
They didn't put it in the 10, but by it winning here, it also won like LA Film Critics, New York Film Critics won tons of different prizes so far that I think this just shows that at least in Best Picture, like I think we'll have fun kind of surprises in other categories, but at least in Best Picture, it's done. It's over. It's a clean sweep. Like One Battle is just going to take everything and just going to sweep every single award show, and very rightfully so. I think it's very great. So that kind of answers that question. I disagree that NBR is like a super big precursor because, like, especially because sometimes they'll throw out some like weird ones. Like I think they had Saving Mr. Banks in there one time. They had like a few other ones in there, and so like
that was nominated for Best Picture.
It was nominated
for 10. Wasn't it Saving Mr. Banks?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. All right. I could have swore it was. Okay. Never mind.
But yeah, no, it's they'll throw some kind of like, oh, this is a populist kind of film in there, and they'll put them in there, and it's just sort of like, oh, okay. When I feel like AFI now, they are a lot more in line with what the Oscars do, because AFI nominates a lot more of like your independent stuff and your more kind of smaller kind of film stuff, not like a huge F1 or
but there's a lot of Warner Brothers and a lot of Universal and stuff like that. Yeah, I gotta give you credit, Wolfman. There's a lot of big name companies movies in there.
Yeah, a lot of big name companies in there, and and I feel like the Oscars are going to have a couple big name movies, but they're going to mostly have like a lot of international films, a lot of other stuff like that. And we'll get to, once we get to AFI Fest, we'll get to It Was Just an Accident, because that also got something at AFI Fest. But there's really there's very few international films here in NBR. I think that's not really gonna
centrist.
I think that's gonna show differently, because they're very
a lot of centrist films is what you're getting at, right?
They're American centric, I feel. So it's like, and the Oscars have been growing very international. They're very in line with the Golden Globes actually lately. So
I mean, I was going to get to the international, but what I think is because they've got a separate category for international, which is why they don't put them in the best featured film. I think, but yeah. I'm just quickly looking at something. But yeah, funny enough, like in talking about Saving Mr. Banks, they actually won the AFI award for best film. Yeah. It was nominated at the Academy Awards, but not in Best Picture. It was only nominated for Best Original Score. but it won the award for best movie for grown-ups who refuse to grow up at the AARP Annual Movies for Grown-ups Award. The most prestigious.
Keep an eye on those AARP movies for grown-ups. You can't dismiss those.
I think one better after another got a few of those this year. But
I'm
no, we're not
AARP age. I'm AARP age. I have my AARP card.
Yeah, but moving on.
You old man.
But moving on to the international film, the winner was Just an Accident, and then the other 5 in the top 5 international. Oh, actually, I shouldn't talk about that best picture myself.
Yeah.
I'll go back a little bit. But yeah, no, it's one of those ones like a lot of these isn't a lot of surprises for me. Like some that I don't see again, and like Wake Up Dead Man probably won't get in best picture. There's one for like I think someone mentioned it in the group chat. It's like, well, no, because I was actually looked back and they did nominate the other Knives Out movies. Both years those came out as well. So like the NBR do love the Knives Out movies. They'll nominate them all in the top 10 films. I don't see that one. For reasons which we'll get to when we get to the Globes, like there's a couple which could be on in trouble, like Jay Kelly and Wicked for Good. And F1 is one of those interesting ones that may have steam, may not. I don't know. But yeah. But
I don't see F1 getting in. Malcolm, I agree.
The only way F1 gets in to picture is if it gets a PGA nom, because I think I have it currently in the PGA 10, because they always at PGA would do like here's Wonder Woman, here is Deadpool, here is it's a bigger movie that they throw out there that they put into the PGA 10. And you're just like, oh, okay, that's a weird
Did
one.
they reward Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick too?
Yeah, I think so. So, so I feel like it could sneak into PGA, and then that might make people think it will get in, and then I think it will miss.
I mean, I was about to say is like I think if everyone gets a SAG nomination as well for ensemble, that could show up maybe being a little bit stronger than what we might think about sneaking into that 10 for the Oscars.
Yeah.
But moving on, going back to international, it was Just an Accident got best international film, and then the other 5 in the top 5: Left-Handed Girl, The Love That Remains, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Surat. But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the international film categories?
I have seen a lot of these. I got to see The Love That Remains at a film festival. Beautiful looking movie. It's from the director of Godland, and it's one of my standouts I've seen this year so far. Very gorgeous looking film. And I just gotta say, at first I was saying how insane it was, but now I think I'm in agreement with everyone that our 5 at the Oscars for Best International Film is going to be all neon films, which will literally be a historic moment, because I think that's the first time in history that literally one studio has filled an entire category up. And I think that that's going to be what happens, because right now, It Was Just an Accident is showing itself to be extremely strong. I think that's going to be winning director and screenplay, or at least original screenplay. I think it will take original screenplay as well as maybe international films, stuff like that. But then you have Sentimental Value, which I just recently got to see a couple of days ago. An amazing movie, and it's a huge front runner. And then you got The Secret Agent, which just got into Best Picture at the Globes, so I don't see that missing at the Oscars. Then you got No Other Choice, which also got into Best Picture at the Globes, so I just do not see that missing. And then Surat, which has been creeping up places, it got Independent Spirit Awards, it got Critics' Choice Award, it got a bunch of different stuff that now I'm like, I don't see a world where that misses now. So I'm like all 5 to me just make the most sense. And I think that's what they're going to do. And it's just going to be kind of insane that one studio is going to take up all 5 slots. But man, they're having a great year this year. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that it may because I'm like, when it comes to national films, I haven't seen any of these, so I don't really have much. But it's just one of those ones like, especially for like things like the segregated sentiment value throughout, and it was just an accident because all four of them are in here. So I mean, those ones like I don't really see missing, and then no other choice I've heard a lot about, and like don't really see that missing either. But and it's just one of those ones. But it's also one of those ones that The Love That Remains and Left-Handed Girl, the other two international films that are nominated here. I don't know how strong they are, but that I wouldn't be surprised if they prove spoiler to the all neon international category. So,
I could see The Left-Handed Girl doing that because of the Sean Baker name attached to it. That definitely helps.
Yeah.
I could see that being a possible spoiler. I still need to see The Left-Handed Girl. I might watch it tonight after this stream is done. That or Jay Kelly, I'm trying to catch up on a few 2025 releases, and that's one of the ones I need to see, but all the rest I've seen.
And then you've also got but just because we've just talked about documentaries, but might as well talk about them a little bit again. The best documentary at the NBR was Cover Up, which I don't think I've ever heard of. And then the other ones in the top 5 documentaries is 2,000 Meters to Andrifica, Come See Me in the Good Light, My Mum Jane, and Natchez and Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. But before I do that, I just realized I did this again. Dan, what's about international?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've seen all these except for that one, Wolf, the one that you said you saw at what was it, Virginia Film Festival or something?
Virginia Film Festival.
Yeah, that's the only one of these I haven't seen, and I do agree that I think it's going to be a very, very hard for anybody other than the 5 neon movies to get in there. But the one that I absolutely loved, I mean, I loved them all, and I really loved No Other Choice. That was the one I caught up to this past week because of a confluence of events. I missed it a couple different times. I loved it. Oh my God, did I love that movie? That movie was phenomenal. I saw it on Monday, but Left-Handed Girl has my heart. I'm a left-handed person, and I really don't like what this little girl went through for being left-handed, and then some of the things. I like the story. I really, really love the story, and it's Sean Baker's the editor. He's the producer. He's the co-writer, and he Takeout. This is the director who worked with him on Takeout and stuff, and she worked with him on Anora as well. They worked together. I absolutely love this movie. I would love this Left-Handed Girl to get into that 5, or both Nouvelle Vague or Left-Handed Girl. Those are 2 movies I absolutely love this year. But I mean, it's going to be tough to beat those neon movies. It really is. They are all fantastic movies. But I think it's a great lineup. Absolutely great lineup.
Well, I think Wolf said on the stream he was doing for the Globe nominations that Nouvelle Vague isn't eligible for international film just because I don't think France. I think he said France didn't submit it.
That's right.
They submitted. It was just an accident. Yeah, France submitted that.
That's right. Good point. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's stupid rule. I feel like it's stupid that you should ever have to just we can only submit.
Well, because Luxembourg could have done. It was just an accident, and France could have did Nouvelle Vague.
Yeah.
Instead, France took. It was just an accident. Luxembourg got something else or whatever, and we could have got both potentially.
Well, because I looked into this, I think the official countries that are tied, as in where the production was happening, was United States and France. I don't think Luxembourg was listed.
Really, because I thought it was listed on the. It's on the.
No, I mean, I looked up at Wikipedia. I don't know which. But yeah, I don't know too much about it. Was just an accident or who produced it.
I got you. I understand.
Yeah. But going back to documentaries, so as I said, the best documentary went to Cover Up, and then the other 5 documentaries was 2,000 Meters to Andrifica, Come See Me in the Good Light, My Mum Jane, Natchez, Orwell 2 + 2 = 5, which also is neon, interestingly enough. once again, no, I don't have a lot more to say than what I did with the other ones. I still haven't seen these in the 5 minutes since we last talked about documentaries. But it's like based on this, like 2,000 meters to Andrew, I can see sort of it's got a lot of steam. My Mum Jane it's one of those ones where that's very interesting because it's been coming up a lot in various places. And as well, weirdly enough, similar to Will and Harbour, it's one of those ones that I don't know if I would consider it a celebrity doc, but because it's still a celebrity-involved doc, I don't see it getting in regardless. But it's one of those weird ones. Dan, what are your thoughts about these documentaries?
Malcolm, you took the words right out of my mouth. We know that celebrity docs don't have much luck in the Oscars, and this has come up a couple of times. Yeah, you're right. It has come up a couple of times, but I'm just glad to see 2,000 meters for Andriva come up. Now 2 + 2 = 5. I've seen that, and it's a wacky documentary, but it really has a lot of good things to say. And it's George Orwell about 1984, where he come up with some of his ideas for 1984, but also talking about the world and some of the problems that are going on in the world and stuff like that. It's really interesting, fascinating documentary. And a couple of the other ones I've seen as well. This is a good lineup. There's no doubt about it.
And Wolf, what are your thoughts about the documentary lineup that they had?
Yeah, I'm on the lookout right now for Cover Up. I think Cover Up is one of those ones that could sneak into Best Documentary at the Oscars, and it winning NBR. I don't know how accurate NBR. I haven't done my research on that, of how accurate documentary winners of NBR are to the documentary winners of or documentary nominees of the Oscars. So I don't know that specific number, but I assume, because it seems like the winners of like one battle and then it was just an accident, I assume that the winner of documentary here is going to at least get nominated, or at least be like in heavy contention now to be nominated. So I'm on the lookout for that one. There's several really great ones on here that I have seen that come seeing in the good light. A beautiful documentary, emotional one of the best documentaries I've seen this year. And yeah, they don't really love celebrity docs, but My Mom Jane has shown up places. It got nominated at the Independent Spirit Awards for Best Documentary, and there are a few places awarding it. But yeah, I personally don't have it in right now. But yeah, it would be interesting for sure if it did get in.
And there wasn't much else I was going to talk about, because a lot of those are things we're going to talk about when we get the Globes anyway. So we're going to save some of those conversations, because pretty much all the acting awards and that went to people who are going to talk about the Globes. So that's kind of good. There's no surprising ones there. But moving on to the AFI top 10 films of 2025. AFI had Avatar: Fire and Ash, Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Train Dreams, Wicked for Good. But Dan, what are your thoughts about this lineup for the 10?
It's a good lineup. I mean, I keep seeing Wicked for Good in places, and maybe call me an old fuddy-duddy or an old grumpy old man or whatever you want to call me. I just don't see it getting in Best Picture. I just don't think it's one of the best movies of the year this year. And look, AFI's got different categories, so they're not gonna put international films. Some of these like NBR and AFI don't have different categories, so they will put the international films in different categories. But we're gonna get at least 2, maybe even 3 international films into this lineup of Best Pictures. So that means some of these movies are going to get knocked out. This is what I do agree with Wolf, though. This seems a little bit more on pace to what you would think the Academy would go for. But I think like a Jay Kelly's out, Wicked for Good is out. They're going to be replaced by 2 foreign films. I strongly believe that. But this is a really good lineup. Other than those 2 films, I'm a big supporter of all these films, except for those 2. I mean, I like them. Don't get me wrong. I like both films. I just don't think they're going to be in the Academy Award 10. So, but I mean, other than those two, I would say it's not a bad lineup.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about this lineup for AFI?
Yeah, so this lineup for AFI is really interesting, and Wicked hasn't been showing up everywhere. You would think it has, but then it missed the Globe nomination. That was huge. That I missed that for Best Picture. But there is one film here that has been showing up everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And I feel like they're still kind of hesitant on, should we put it in there? Should we not? I don't know. And that's Begonia. That has shown up now.
That's surprising.
At the Globes. It's shown up at the Critics' Choice. It's shown up at AFI. It has shown up I forget if it showed up at NBR when we just literally went through it. I just forgot if it showed up there, but it's been showing up.
Are you predicting? No, not to interrupt you. Are you saying that the Academy Award 10 is going to have 2 focus features films?
I think so. I think that they're going to have 2 focus feature films because at this point, I feel like Begonia is just too strong. And I know that we want BAFTAs this year to predict the Oscar nominations, but in terms of wins, at least, BAFTA is always a great precursor. But I think, when you look at nominations, I think that the BAFTAs will also nominate Begonia because they love Yorgos Lanthimos
and not Testament of Anne-Lee. You're giving up on Testament of Anne-Lee.
I've given up on it. It needed that Globe nom for a musical. It needed that, and I was like, it can't get into picture with just a Gotham nomination. I'm like, okay. It's just like, I've given up on that. I'm just like, I don't think this is Searchlight's year. It's just like, sometimes you gotta, you win some, you lose some, as they say. So this is the year that Searchlight they didn't have one in their bag.
You don't think Rental Family is going to make the 10?
Not anymore. I think because Rental Family, it missed Critics' Choice, it missed Globes, it missed it missed AFI, it missed a lot of places that it needed to get. Like, it can't just get in just because of NBR. And then if it gets into the PGA, then maybe. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get into the PGA yet. But all I know is that this is definitely interesting because it's very American coded. However, I will say a special prize apparently at AFI went to It Was Just an Accident. So that shows you that is out front to basically take home everything with international feature. But I do think AFI is not going to be 100% accurate this year because there is going to be more kind of international stuff within the Oscars that isn't a part of AFI. And I'm still on the lookout. Everyone's freaking out right now because Avatar is just not showing up anywhere.
I'll tell you the reason why.
Because
it didn't screen in time for these people.
They didn't screen in time. They're doing shitty screenings in terms, not like the film is shitty, but I'm saying in terms of FYC screening.
No. Hold on a second here. I don't want to get off on a side tangent, Malcolm. But no, these people think that their SHIT don't stink. So you got to screen your movie 2 months in advance so we could put our list out at the beginning of December and have all this kind of crap. No, they screened it December 1. How much early do you want these people to screen these movies when the movie doesn't come out till the 19th of December? Come on, give them a break here. Avatar don't come out till the 19th of December. They're screening it on December 1st. How much earlier do you want? I mean, what do you want from 20th Century Fox? 20th Century Studios. I mean, I saw it on December 1. That's as early as you're going to get. I mean, give me a break.
Look, I'm going to get into a very different rant about Avatar when we get to the Globes. But yeah, I mean, for me, this is, look, I don't mind this lineup, and I'm one of those people that does really like Written for Good. I think it's a great movie. And it's one of those ones well, yes, it didn't get into the Globes, but it's also one of those ones I'm not 100% ready to write it out of the award season yet, because there's unlike Rick for Good, there's a few other ones in this lineup like Train Dreams and Jay Kelly, which also did not get into those major categories. So I think those movies could still be like somewhat strong enough to maybe sneak in. It's one of those ones like this is going to be really interesting Best Picture race this time around because with so many things, so many factors happening all over the place, it's going to be one of those ones that it's going to be really hard to fully predict the exact 10. So it's definitely because there's a few movies on here which I would say is safe, like One Bear After Another, Sinners, and Frankenstein, and Frankenstein. I'd say those three are 100% definitely safe. And then like Hamlet is like I've not seen Hamlet; it doesn't come out till mid-January for me, so I can't see it until then.
It's safe, Malcolm. It's safe, Malcolm. Marty Supreme, Hamlet, they're safe.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like it's like I was going to wait till we get into globes and stuff anyway, but it's like they are popping up places. Like I don't see them missing. I wasn't saying that they're not. I wasn't trying to suggest that they're not safe. But yeah. But yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Like and that, but. That, we are going to move on. We got going into the Critics' Choice Awards. But so find the start of the article there. I'm actually going to start from the bottom and work our way back up to Best Picture.
Actually, and just real quick, Malcolm, I just want to say one. I feel like Avatar: Fire and Ash Wolf is one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah, I'm not ready to bet. I'm not ready to bet against it. I will say this: it is stupid that it's a stupid category anyways, but it's stupid that the Golden Globes nominated it for Best Box Office Achievement when it hasn't even come out yet. Like, we know it's going to make tons of money, but like I feel like a movie should be out first before it's nominated.
Good point.
Don't spoil my rant, Wolf. Don't spoil
Malcolm's rant. Oh, we're gonna get a Malcolm rant on that. Okay.
Because they'll go. Well, probably not now because I was going to bring up that exact point. But starting from the bottom, I'm not going to talk about the television side of things at the Critics' Choice, just for interest of time. Not that I don't have a set time for this at all, but I want to get into the Golden Globes as well. So we've got a lot of stuff to remember when it comes to Critics and Globes. But starting at the bottom, which is foreign language and film, at the Critics' Choice, they had Berlin. It was Just an Accident, Left-Handed Girl, No Other Choice, so The Secret Agent, and Surratt. Dan, what are your thoughts about this foreign language lineup at the Critics' Choice?
The weirdest thing is, I went to the Miami Gems Film Festival, and and I was thinking, I heard great things about Hamnet and Sentimental Value and all these movies, and then I'm driving back home, and I'm like, Berlin won, or like a day, like what is Berlin? What is Berlin? Why is this winning film festivals and then getting nominated for Golden Globe? I haven't seen the movie. I just don't understand. We were just talking about the neon movies, and then you see Berlin in here, and then you're like, what is this? Why is this stealing the spotlight of other things that you thought would be in these categories? But then you got to realize it's the Golden Globes, so you can't always understand what their decision making is.
Oh, this is Critics' Choice, right?
Oh, I thought he said it was Golden Globes.
This is Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, same thing. Critics' Choice, you don't know. But now that makes a little bit more sense. It's Critics' Choice then. Okay. Never mind. Because that's all critics at the other thing too. So I didn't see Berlin when I was in Miami. I chose to see something else at the same time. But I just don't understand. I have to definitely reach out and get a screener of that because it's kind of a head scratcher to me. Sorry. I thought you were doing Globes.
No, I'm starting with critics. We're going to go into the Globes last.
Okay, got it.
Just because the Globes is the more recent one. But
okay.
Yeah. But Wolf, what are your thoughts about foreign language lineup?
Yeah, the foreign language lineup is what got me super, super duper excited as someone who is a massive fan of Surratt. Spoiler alert, that will be in my top 10 of the year. I mean, several of these, like No Other Choice would be in my top 10, and It Was Just an Accident will as well. but like Surratt blew me away, and I was thinking that film was going to be a bit divisive because I don't want to give away anything because that's a movie you want to go in blind to. But
good movie.
But it's like one of those ones where I thought it would be like divisive because of the subject matter and what happens within the film, but it seems like it's doing very, very well. And Critics' Choice nominated it for sound, which was an inspired choice because when you see it, especially in a theater, I got to see it in a theater at a film festival with loud booming sound and just like making the chairs vibrate and everything. It's just so an adrenalating that's not a word experience, that just like it pumped me up with adrenaline. So I love that that's here. And that, as expected, the Neon 5 are here, Left Hand Girl. But then, Baleen, that's one I've been looking out for because I think it just got Independent Spirit Award as well for Best International Film. And it's been showing up these places. And apparently it's Amazon MGM, and they're really trying to campaign it. And they're really trying to get it out there. And it's apparently getting comparisons to like Argentina in 1985, I think is what it was called or something, which is like another one from the same country and such. And so I think that this one is one to look out for sure, but I still think the Neon 5 are what we're going with for Oscars.
Once again, like a lot of we just sort of talked about. I just don't know what bill it is, but it sounds interesting. But it's just one of those ones like it was like the neon ones that are here and Left-Handed Girl are popping up a lot. We definitely going to hear at least 4 of those when we get to the Globes. So it's definitely looking like those are the 4. Those at least those 4 neon ones we're definitely going to be seeing at the Oscars. Whether the 5th one is also going to be neon or it's going to be Netflix with Left-Handed Girl, it's going to be one of those interesting races there. But moving on to a song, the nominations at the Critics' Choice Awards is Drive from F1, Golden from Gay Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You by Sinners, Clothed by the Sun from The Testament of Anne Lee, Train Dreams from, I don't know, I forgot the name of the movie. The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good. But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the Critics' Choice nominations for song?
I think it's expected. That's one thing that I will say about the Critics' Choice is they are a good precursor for the actual Oscars. They're one of the ones I look forward to the least in terms of nominations, honestly. And the reason why is because they are purposefully trying to predict the Oscars, and they're not trying to throw you for any big surprise or loot. They're not doing some fucking Nouvelle Vague and Best Picture shit that you're like, what the fuck kind of deal. They're not trying to like surprise you on that front. They're just like, oh, we just want to give you the basic ones that you expect. And these are all the ones I expect in this category. So there's really nothing too shocking. I will say this. Dan was on my show and we were trying to predict the Critics' Choice Awards. And I will give you kudos because you mentioned Drive as possibly getting a nomination for F1. And Jonathan and I both wrote it off, but you did good there because it got in. So there we
go. It's well as like for me, like and as well as ones like I'm surprised they did that the Critics' Choice did not go the double record nominations. Because it's one of those because I think both the songs and both the new songs they added to record, I think they're both good. I do prefer the No Place Like Home song more than The Girl in the Bubble. So I'm surprised that they went with The Girl in the Bubble instead.
It's Ariana Grande. She's popular.
I mean, Super Evo is just as popular.
Not just as I would say, like, if you asked somebody before Wicked even came out, like if you said, "Hey, you love listening to Ariana," they're like, "Oh yeah, I love her. Thank you. Next, I'm so fucking grateful for my ex," and all that stuff. And they would sing that, and then there's like all these other songs that Ariana has done in her past. And it's like people would have actually been able to sing you a song. They're like, "Now sing me a Cynthia Erivo song." They'd be like, it's all that stuff because it's like, yeah, it's.
Well, I mean, I wasn't meaning like popular in terms of song. I was more meaning in both popular in general. Like Cynthia's just as popular in both terms, like for different reasons. But that's what I was getting at. But it's one of those. It's one of those ones like, but and I mean, it's just one of those cases where like I don't know if it is them trying to predict the Oscars. I think it's just the way that all the critics votes ended up. Like I think it's just the way they. But anyway, moving on to score. Dan, what are your thoughts about songs?
Hey, which one of these are not going to be in there because Diane Warren's going to be in there, right?
Well, I mean, that's so true.
Is it going to be Drive? Is it going to be Drive? Is it going to be The Girl in the Bubble?
Or is it going to be Clothed by the Sun from Testimony of Ann Lee? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like there's at least two of these that if Diane Rogers is getting in, which, as I said, I'm not 100% certain. I won't be surprised if she does. For that same reason, there's 6 nominations here, so 2 of these wouldn't get in if Diane wanted to get in. So, and it's one of those ones like, as I know, Wolf is high on Testimony Ann Lee. I think
that's a good song.
I think that's a song. That's at least one of the songs that's probably going to miss.
It is a good song, though, Malcolm. When you see the movie, you see how contagious it is.
But yeah, I mean, but then now moving on to score, we've got Hans Zimmer for F1, Alexandra Desplat for Frankenstein, Max Richter for Hamnet, Daniel Lopatin for Marty Supreme, Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another, and Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. And this is one of those ones like, I think Daniel Lopatin is the one out of this lineup that's going to miss. And it's going to be the other 5 in score that's going to be what ends up being nominated. Once again, that the reasoning is going to be when we get to the Globes anyway. But I think the score lineup is pretty good. Like I haven't listened to this. As I said, I haven't seen Hamnet, so I don't know about that score. But I've listened to the score for Sinners, and I do think that all 4 of those scores that I've seen that I've listened to are good. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the lineup for best score at the Critics' Choice?
Yeah, I mean, I agree to almost everything you said, Malcolm. The one that I think is going to be out is Hans Zimmer. I think the other 5 are going to be in, and Hans Zimmer is going to be out. I think they're going to say, "Oh, we've rewarded Hans Zimmer in the past. He's won before very recently," and I think these other scores are better than the score in F1. That's just me, my 2 cents on the matter. I think these are all fantastic. And Hans, the Hamnet score, when you see Hamnet, you'll understand. It's a really haunting score and a beautiful score for that movie. But I think it's the other 5 are going to get in, not F1, not Hans Zimmer. But that's a hot take, I guess you would call it.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the score lineup?
That is a hot take because I want to share with you some kind of statistics and such. If you're making that argument, then you might as well say Alexander Desplat shouldn't be nominated because
that score's in. That score is.
I know, but he's been nominated 19 times by the Academy Awards and stuff.
Has he really?
Yeah, he's been nominated like a ton of times. Like he's been nominated like a good amount, and like it's
come on,
and he's won 3 times out of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's won 3 times out of like the 18 or 19 times that he's been nominated.
I didn't realize he was nominated that many times.
Yeah, so they really love Alexander.
But his Frankenstein's too good. He's not going to be nominated.
They love John Williams. When John Williams does a score, they're like, oh, you're in. The score could suck, and they're like, oh, you're in.
Do you honestly remember the score from F1? Does that ring a bell?
No.
Right
Do
now?
you remember the score from the Fablemans out of the top of your head? Do you remember the score? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if there's a composer that someone
he shouldn't have gotten it. John Williams should not have gotten in for Fablemans.
I agree with that, and I'm saying that Hans Zimmer shouldn't get in for F1. But I just am saying he's such a name now with John Williams that I think that that he just gets in off of name recognition alone.
Okay, all right.
And that's it. And I think that he is the type of, especially because he got this and the Globe. If he didn't get the Globe, I would have said, okay, maybe he is on the cutting edge floor. But because he got this and the Globe, and I think even like the Music and Media Awards nominated him for score or something like that too. It's like he's been getting in everywhere so far. I think that he is going to get in for.
I have to watch F1 again and listen to the score.
F1, yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to score again too, because I mean sometimes it doesn't matter about how forgettable or unforgettable thing is. I honestly think both the Wicked songs are extremely forgettable. I can't hum you a single bar of them, and yet right now it seems like both Wicked songs are doing really well. So sometimes it doesn't matter on how forgettable something might be. It's just off of name recognition, and so I think the one you do take out of here is Daniel Lopatin, because the Oscars just aren't that cool. They're not going to go with a cool pick. Like, that's why when I saw Surratt in the Golden Globes, I'm like, oh my God, that's inspired, like, cool pick. Fuck you, Oscars, because I know you're not going to do it. And I was just like, and it's just like one of those kind of things where they're going to go with your basic picks that they can go with. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just quickly looking up some things. I want to see how often Hans Zimmer had been nominated. But yeah, for Best Original Score, Hans Zimmer has been nominated 3, 6, 9, 10, 12 times, and only run it with the most recent, and in the last, with a good chunk of them being like at least 5 of them is within the last 20 years. So
yeah. And my bad, I was off. Desplat has 11 nominations and 2 wins, which is still
19, and now 11. Come on, Wolf.
But still, 11 is a lot. 11 is still a lot. That is still a lot.
I mean, once again, you want to talk about Desplat, the majority of his nominations is in the last 20 years.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know, because he only came up. What was the Wes Anderson movies, right? Or the ones
The Queen was his first nomination in 2007. So
yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't just the Wes Anderson movies. Like he got nominated, Little Women, Shape of Water, Imitator. 2015, he was up against himself. He got nominated.
Yeah, that's right.
Imitation Game in Grand Budapest. But
that's right.
But he had a streak from 2010 to 2020, a 10-year streak, in which he was nominated every year. So
yeah.
So it's one of those ones sometimes it doesn't matter. But it's like what I've noticed when they do the Oscar nominated scores, they always want to try and get some unknown people in there, but there's always at least 1 or 2 very big known names, even though they may not win. So
yeah, and also they're not too far behind. He's been nominated 11 times. Hans Zimmer's been nominated 12 times. He's still a big name. So and same amount of wins as well. So yeah.
But moving on, the Critics' Choice for Visual Effects, they had Avatar: Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Sinners, and Superman. For me, I like this lineup. I think it's a pretty solid lineup. It's pretty hard for me to pick on what one I think is not going to be at the Oscars, because I think at least all 6 of these have a reason to be at the Oscars for visual effects. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the lineup for visual effects?
Yeah, this is a good lineup. I mean, it's just, there's there's some movies that just don't have the best. Like some of them don't. I think it's because of the title is that they're getting into visual effects. I don't necessarily think they have great visual effects. All of these titles, I think it's just because of the movie title. Oh, okay, we're gonna put that in there. Like Superman. I mean, I thought it was good, and the visual effects were good, but I didn't think they just blew my mind. But that's just me.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the visual effects lineup?
The visual effects lineup. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, this to me is so far. We just went through song. We just went through score. We just went through visual effects. This just feels like okay. We are just trying to predict the Academy Awards. Like that's what.
And they're not going to have Avatar. There's no Avatar because they weren't there. So that's going to be in the Academy Award 5, and it's going to win.
And Avatar was a write-in for this because apparently they allowed write-ins because it didn't make the short list for visual effects at the time. So that's why we didn't predict it in our video because I didn't know how the rules work, but apparently you can write in stuff and
and they wrote in Avatar. Yeah, it's gonna win. It's gonna win.
Yeah. So
I think it could have also been a case of, because I think when they were voting on this, that maybe it's when the they probably had seen the trailer as well and so and they probably judged what they could see in the visual effects from that. I think that could be part of it too.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you this. I don't know if I talked to you about this, Malcolm, but I think I told Wolf about this. They boycotted the Critics' Choice members that were supposed to show up for December 1st. Boycotted the screening on December 1st of Avatar because they thought their SHIT don't stink and they wanted to see it earlier. And what's his name said, no, the screenings for all press, including Critics' Choice, are December 1st.
Wow. But yeah, I think, it could be a situation like that, or it could be a situation like the Globes where they're like, oh, well, we assume it's going to have great visual effects. So just like we assume it's going to make money at the box office. We assume it's going to have great visual effects. So here we go. Put it in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, they look at the last two of them and they say, okay, this is something you could put all your money in that basket and say, okay, push all your chips into the middle of the table as a poker reference because there's credibility there with the previous two films, right?
Yeah, and I thought when we were doing our predictions, I was trying to root for this. I thought, despite the mixed reviews, I thought the visual effects would just be its lone nomination for Tron Ares because it's very visually stunning, very visually captivating, and Tron Legacy actually got a Critics' Choice nomination for Best Visual Effects. So I thought I was going to get in there, and now that I missed, it's definitely not making it in the Oscars. And I'm looking at this list, I'm like, what effects are in Sinners? What effects are in there? Visual effects? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's just like, okay, are they counting what? Natural blood?
String work. It's string work. It's that big dance sequence. There's a lot of craziness going on in there. Green screen, all kinds of stuff going on in there. You just don't see it because it's invisible, but it's there, Wolf.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those ones like when it comes to visual effects, I think sometimes even the most some movies have the most subtle visual effects. Because I've said this in the past, because there was a big streak a wee while ago where it was like there was always going to be at least a space movie in the nominations, and a lot of things like Gravity and that they don't have a lot of noticeable visual effects, but there's probably some there which we don't recognize. So, but it's one of those ones like out of the 6, I think I do kind of agree with Wolf in that Sinners might be the one that ends up missing out for that reason. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and but moving on to sound, and once again, some of these are very predictable as well. But for best sound, we had F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Surat, and Warfare, which I'm glad to see pop up here, honestly. And yeah, like for me, I think a lot of with the exception of Surat, which that I'm not seeing, but I think a lot of these it makes sense to be here. Like F1's a racing movie. Racing movies are really good. Sinners, like from what I hear, it has a lot of good musical sequences and stuff, and like those kind of movies get in. Warfare is a war movie. War movies do very well, but it's also one of those cases where, if Surat is as strong as some of these nominations that it's popping up is going to make it seem, I can see it getting in over Warfare just because Warfare came out really early on in the year. So I don't know if that's going to be remembered when people are voting on the Oscars.
Civil War missed, not sound too. So yeah, it's from the same director.
Yeah. So and I love Warfare. I think it's a great movie. I'd love to see that in this and get nominated somewhere. But yeah, but unfortunately, it came out really early on. And I don't really hear a lot of push for people to get it into these categories about the critics' choice. But Dan, what are your thoughts about best sound?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic category. I agree with all your assessments, Malcolm. Yeah, I mean, Wolf was right. I mean, Surat's got some amazing sound. You're just going to be shocked by some of the sequences in Surat that come up and you're like, what the hell is going on? You know, if these voters see that in a theater, which, you know, it's going to be in the Academy Award portal, so they're going to see Surat. Is the sound going to resonate with it? That's the big question. This is a great lineup of films. You know, it's just, I'm right with you. Warfare, F1, they deserve to be in there, and some of these other ones are really great sound because I saw them like in Dolby or IMAX, and that accentuates the sound on some of these movies, so it makes it even better. So yeah, I like this lineup quite a bit.
And Wolf, what are your thoughts about sound?
Yeah, the sound is really great here. No Wicked for Good. I wanted to point that out. Like, you know, that's something that people were predicting because it's musical numbers and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, fuck that movie, only because I was watching Sentimental Value, a very quiet, peaceful kind of film that, like, you know, has quiet scenes. And right in the theater across from me, they're playing like No Good Deed and all these other loud songs that are just disrupting the sound because of how loud the theater was. And I was like, God damn. I was like, can y'all like turn down the speakers in the other theater? Like, God. How people are just like, wow, there's like an emotional scene happening. I was like, God. But yeah, this is great. I cheered so loud when Surat was on it because, yeah, this is a movie that really heavily relies on sound. There's a lot of rave sequences. They use a lot of stuff with raves and music and all that. And yeah, there's some shocking stuff that involves sound in here. All I'll say, because Dan knows what I'm talking about, turn it up, you know, whenever that happens. Oh my God. Like that, there is some shocking stuff with sound that just makes you like, oh, whoa, what? And you're like, can't believe what you just saw. And so I think because of that, I think Surat, and because of how international now the Oscars are really growing to be as well, sometimes we see international films creep up into other tech categories. Like we've seen Cold War. That got a cinematography nomination that year and everything. And I think Another Round got like, you know, director, and every now and then you see him pop up into other categories like that.
Cold War got a director.
Yeah, Cold War got a director as well. So I think that Surat is one of those ones that's like it could get international and sound, and maybe that's it or something, or maybe that and score. We'll see, but whenever we get to score. But yeah, it's I think Warfare is going to miss because, you know, everyone kept on talking about how great the sound was in Civil War, and I agree with that. Civil War from the same director, and that missed. And it's like
there is a shocking moment. There is a shocking moment in the middle of the film of Warfare that just is going to blow your mind.
Oh yeah,
if you haven't seen it. So that's another one
for sure, especially the opening too, and they're kind of dancing and having that great time, and it just goes to straight silence basically right after that, and you're like, oh whoa. And so the way they really utilize sound is exceptional in that film. But
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. I kind of did say this, and I think it was in the chat. But it was like, but in talking about Wicked for Good, like, I'm not overly surprised. We may not see it in sound. And it just, I think it just goes to show, and it's just because of how strong some of these other movies sound is as well. Because and plus I think what I was about to say is it's one of those ones like I wouldn't be surprised if we see Wicked missing a few tech categories this year at the Oscars because it won the same tech category, a lot of the same tech categories last year. I don't think it won sound, but it was definitely nominated to sound last year. So it's one of those that I wouldn't be surprised if it misses some of those because a lot of those things is pretty much the same kind of way they've done. They're not really doing anything new in this in Wicked for Good that they did in the first one. But speaking of Wicked for Good, moving on to hair and makeup. We've got 28 years later, Frankenstein, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, Weapons, and Wicked for Good. Dan, what are your thoughts about lineup for hair and makeup?
Yeah, this is pretty good lineup, except there's one that probably should be in here, and that's the stepsister, the Wicked stepsister.
We predicted it, Dan. We were hope-dicting, and hope-dicting didn't pay off.
This is terrible. I mean, this is pretty. I mean, okay, so she's green. I know it's Jonathan Bailey. It's what's the other guy? The other guy that was dancing with her sister. That who was his boyfriend. It's that guy. It's Jonathan Bailey. It's Elphaba. So they're saying there's more hair and makeup here. Plus, you get the normal hair and makeup from Galinda and stuff, and some of the other people like Michelle Yeoh or whatever. But I just think they really are dropping the ball with the evil stepsister or whatever. I think is it the evil stepsister?
The ugly stepsister.
Ugly stepsister. Yeah. This is clearly, to me, some of the best hair and makeup in any movie all year, and they have gone this direction with the Academy, where the single hair and makeup nom. They've done it before. And there's nothing. I mean, I would say this is going to be the year where hair and makeup doesn't attribute to an actor. Well, it's best supporting actress. Shoot. But there you go. Crap. Just realized it. Yep. Best supporting actress in hair and makeup tie. Yeah. There you go. So, but I still think God, man, I'd love to see Wicked not get in here and get the ugly stepsister get in. Or I like the hair and makeup on The Rock in the Smashing Machine, but would be the only nomination for that film. I'd definitely love the ugly stepsister to get in there over that, but I don't see this as a totally bad batch of films. This is not bad. You just got to understand that ugly stepsister is some of the best of the year.
But we'll probably was about hair and makeup.
I think the one thing that can also help with the ugly stepsister is the Oscars also love what is the most makeup. They don't care about like what is actually the best makeup. What is the most makeup? And like
it's feet. It's feet makeup. It's right. It's not just
face makeup. They like completely. Her hair is falling out, so it's like wig makeup, like prosthetics everywhere. It's just like so they use a lot, even though it's on one person basically throughout the film. It's still like a ton of makeup on that one person that they use for this movie. And I just think that body horror as well has had a history of showing up in this category with like American Werewolf in London, which won the Academy Award that year for best makeup. I think The Fly showed up that year that it was nominated and such. And I think that you like The Substance obviously just recently won. So so body horror has a history with getting into the Oscars for best hair and makeup. And I still think that there's a chance it can get in at the Oscars, also because of like international voters voting and all that kind of stuff as well. But man, and this is what I'm saying, like they're just generic picks here. Like this is all your generic picks. Like it would have been a cool pick. I would have said, okay, you're actually cool. Critics' Choice if they actually would have gone like Ugly Stepsister, but they're not that cool. And it's just like all the generic ones you're expecting. But I will say, I do think there is room for snubs here. Come Oscars time, I do think you could see a snub for 28 Years Later. Maybe you could see a snub for The Smashing Machine if that just doesn't do anything. So and maybe maybe Ugly Stepsister could come in and replace it, but we'll see. I know there's already some horror represented in this category, but
and remember last year we got Brando, which nobody even saw out of nowhere. So you never know.
And then there's that one that had like Helen
Mirren
or something in a bunch of makeup or something like that. It was like Golda or something. I think it was called.
Golda a couple years back.
Golda, yeah, that was like just literally a one nomination thing for hair and makeup. So that happens a lot.
Helen Mirren she didn't look like herself. She looked like Golda.
Yeah, so could happen.
I mean, it's one of those ones. Like I think it comes down to like who's pushing for these movies. There's, I don't like. It's one of those ones like with Golda, it was distributed by Bleecker Street, which is like a bit like which is good at really campaigning in that. And it's one of the
good iffy on campaigning. I think they're a bigger studio than that's why they're iffy on campaigning because they're lucky to only get into one category. Usually, is how it is.
Well, that's because they probably saw they had a chance with Golda for hair and makeup, so they probably maybe pushed it a lot for that. I don't know,
and we forget too, Malcolm, real quick. It's the branch that's gonna pick the 5. So this is just a bunch of film critics that saw these movies and they ended up with this group of films. The branch is going to pick the 5 at the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
and they have done a great job of picking some one-offs in the past.
But what I was going to say is and that's the thing, like with the Ugly Stepsister, I don't know much about that. I have no idea what it is. So,
want me to tell you what it is? Do you want me to tell you what it is?
But it's one of those. But it's one of those.
Cinderella, Malcolm.
Yeah, it's literally a horror version of Cinderella, basically. But it's from the stepsister's point of view. She is jealous of how Cinderella's life is and wants to be just like her, so she kind of mutilates her body to get to that point.
I got that from the title. I kind of think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is it's one of those ones like they would have to do a lot of work to get noticed, and if they're not actively doing that because they think it's like, oh, there's going to be no chance, then that's probably not going to get a chance.
But how does Brando? Who saw Waltzing with Brando, Malcolm?
Well, that was my point. Is once again, when it comes to hair and makeup, maybe the studio saw a value in it and was actively pushing it.
Also, Waltzing for Brando, I believe it only made the shortlist. I don't think it was actually nominated for makeup that year. I believe.
It got in.
It did? Okay.
I think it got in. Look it up.
But I mean that's things like
I could be wrong. I mean, I'd be shocked if I was wrong on that. That'd be surprising. That was a big deal.
No, it did, like Wolf is right. It only made the short list.
Right.
It made the short list, and we were saying, "What the fuck is Waltzing for Brando?" And we were so shocked that when it was on the short list, and then it didn't get nominated. So
okay, all right.
Ugly Stepsister might still make the short list for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones like, if it makes the shortlist, then it shows that the studio is doing its job to try and at least get its hair and makeup noticed. But if it's not, that's kind of my point. Is like Waltzing with Brando and Golda, they probably thought, well, we think our makeup is good. We want to make sure it gets noticed enough to get on the shortlist.
I gotcha.
So that's all I was saying there. And it's one of those ones like Wicked for Good for me is, once again, as I said, with sounds like Wicked for Good is the one that I wouldn't be overly surprised if it misses, but as in this category, I do see it maybe sneaking in though, because they with the added Tin Man and Scarecrow makeup plus, and it's, as I always say, it's like people always go, it's like, oh, it's the most makeup. It's like, it shouldn't be. It's like they should take in the hair into consideration. It's called hair and makeup. So I think and I think all the hairstylings in Wicked for Good, I think is really good. And even though we didn't necessarily see her face, the hair on Dorothy, I think, is pretty good to make it really accurate to what Dorothy looks like in Wizard of Oz and that. But yeah, moving on to editing, the nominations at the Critics' Choice, we have A House of Dynamite, which I think is very divisive when it comes to editing, from what I've heard. F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Perfect Neighbor, and
Dan's favorite.
Why is this in editing? Why is this in editing, Malcolm? This shouldn't be in editing. This is awful editing.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the nominations for editing?
Yeah, so I remember when we were predicting it, I thought maybe in the back of my mind, like, would they go with The Perfect Neighbor? Like, I'm starting to think, because they're splicing together, kind of body cam footage with news footage with like other things, and it's like the way it's spliced together and put together like that. I was thinking that when I made the short list, but then we wrote it off and did not put it, and now it did get in. So it was just kind of surprising. I don't think it's gonna be that way come the Oscars. But I also don't think House of Dynamite, just because of the reviews and how that was received, I also don't think that's really going to get into editing as well. Because I will say this, that so even though I said they're trying to predict the Oscars earlier and such, usually the way the editing is with the Oscars is it's usually mostly what is nominated for Best Picture, with one exception. So I think the one exception will be F1, and then I think you're still gonna have Sinners, One Battle, Marty Supreme, maybe you get a Hamnet in there, and get like Sentimental Value or It Was Just an Accident or something like that. Because usually it's like whatever doesn't make it into editing and it's in picture, it's like, oh, okay, then that one's not winning picture. Like, it's not strong enough to win. That's basically how it's been through these past few years, because editing has been such a big indicator for what wins picture, or what is at least strong in picture and such. So I think for me, I think it's a solid lineup overall. I just think it's kind of weird having Perfect Neighbor and House of Dynamite, which is, in my opinion, overly edited. How the hell is No Other Choice not in here? No Other Choice made a ton of the Critics' Choice Award shortlist. A ton of them. Like, it was even in production design on the Critics' Choice Award shortlist. Like, they clearly saw the film and really liked it, yet they didn't nominate for Best Editing, and that clearly is the best editing of the entire year. Nothing will change that. That editing, some of what they end up doing in that film is like, how did they even pull that off? Like, it's insane. Like, I don't know how they even pulled it off. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it flies by. Same One Battle. They're both like the two best edited movies I've seen this year. So, yeah, the fact that's in here and here, not in here, and like The Perfect Neighbor and House of Dynamite is just, that's ridiculous to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, like, I'm not a fan of Perfect Neighbor, but it's really enough. Like, I think the way they've edited it together and all the stuff, I think it is actually pretty good. Like, the way they edited it together, that is probably one of the big positives I will give it. I think the editing is pretty good. It's also one that I don't think is going to translate to an Oscar nomination either, because, but I think it's that, once again, that's going to depend on if the Oscars really love The Perfect Neighbor enough to, because I think if the Oscars really do love The Perfect Neighbor, then maybe it's Nixon. I don't know, like, and I don't know. I haven't seen the House of Dynamite yet. I'll probably get around to it eventually. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the editing category?
Yeah, I disagree with Wolf. I think House of Dynamite has incredible editing. I hate the Perfect Neighbor, whatever it's called. the Neighbor Next Door or whatever. I think that editing is awful. I think the one from last year of the guy getting shot on the corner on the street in Chicago had phenomenal editing compared to the Perfect Neighbor or whatever. It's ridiculous. This movie should not be in editing. I agree with Wolf. No Other Choice has got amazing editing. I love the editing in No Other Choice. It really brings that whole movie all the way around. And I do love House of Dynamite's editing. I think it's amazing. Say whatever you want about the third act of the movie. I think the movie is a really good movie, and the editing is one of the reasons why. And the score, which I know people on this panel do not like the score.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to costume design, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Hamnet, we've got Hedda, we got Kiss of the Spider Woman, we got Sinners, and we got Wicked for Good. For me, this is one of those ones like I'm really excited that Frankenstein is getting love for costume because it's a New Zealand costume designer. But as I found out recently, I actually found that out recently. But it's one of those ones like out of this. I think the two outliers here is Hedda and Kiss of the Spider Woman. I honestly completely forgot Kiss of the Spider Woman when even was released because it hasn't been released here yet. But it's a big name costume designer. It's Colleen Atwood. So it's good. One of those interesting ones, like, but I think the costumes of Wicked for Good are pretty good, and I think a lot of the costumes are different enough in ahead that I think it can still sneak into costume again this year round. I think if the two outliers, one of which I think might be knocked out, I think is Hedda and Kiss of the Spider Woman. I think Sinners, Hamnet, and Frankenstein are all most likely getting into costumes for various reasons. And yeah, but Dan, what are your thoughts about costumes?
Yeah, well, we had a debate about this, and I'm just glad to see that they didn't go for both Hamnet and Testament of Anne Lee in costume because the costumes are so similar to each other in those movies in a way. But they did, and they were talking, could Hedda get in here because some of the costumes in Hedda? But I would say, I think you're right, Mark. I think Hedda, or most likely Kiss of the Spider Woman, will be out. I think there's a good shot of Marty Supreme getting in costumes, but I don't know for sure. You know, you just never know because that's going to be a Best Picture contender, and it could get into some of the other texts. And usually, sometimes some text can come along for the ride if a movie's doing well, like Marty Supreme, I think is going to do very well. Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think Hedda, I think it's all gowns, it's ball gowns, it's dresses and things like that. I just don't think Kiss of the Spider Woman's going to go along for a one-off costume on this one. I think Marty Supreme would probably sneak in here over that, but that's just I'm just glad to see Testament of Anne Lee not in here because I think the costumes are so much similar to the costumes in Hamnet.
But what are your thoughts about the nominations for costumes?
No, I did think Testament of Anne Lee was going to get in here, and I still think it could sneak in at the Oscars because they love those type of costumes, those period piece type movies. I will say they would have also been fucking cool if The Ugly Stepsister would have gotten nominated here for costume design.
Good point.
Because like there's some really cool costumes of that with like Cinderella and with the other costumes that they have throughout. So that would have been a really inspired choice, but I just don't see it happening now. I will say Hedda showing up was really interesting, and that really helps. I think Amazon is kind of mad at themselves because they screwed this movie over. Now they're seeing that, it's popping in a few places, like in costumes, and like Tessa Thompson's been getting nominated a few places, stuff like that. I think that they are kicking themselves because they were like, oh, we're just going to release this in theaters, and then we're going to drop it on like Amazon Prime a week later. Like they just didn't really care about it. They just wanted to dump it on Amazon Prime. And it's like when you do that, it doesn't show faith in your product. And now it's getting nominations in a few places. Imagine if they would have gone full on, showing faith in their product and saying, hey, no, we're confident in this. Let's push this hard. it would.
Yeah, they did that with Christie. They did it with Christie.
Yeah.
Christie, they're making the rounds everywhere for Christie. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird that they're not doing that with Hedda. No, that's kind of odd.
Yeah, it is very odd that this Hedda just went completely unnoticed by that studio, and yeah, it's sneaking into a few places. So I think maybe Hedda could surprise here, because sometimes they'll do like a lone nominee for costume design or something, and I think that your lone nominee for costume design this year could be Hedda. It has really great costumes and such in there. But I also think Marty Supreme has a chance in costumes as well because of the type of film it is. Kiss of the Spider-Woman, if it does get in here, it'll also be a lone nominee situation where it's like its only nomination is for costume design. And so I think that any of these could be possible, but right now I think you take out Kiss of the Spider-Woman and basically this is year 5, basically.
But moving on to cinematography, we've got F1, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Hamlet, we've got One Better After Another, we've got Sinners, and we've got Train Dreams. Dan, what are your thoughts about the cinematography category?
Yeah, this is, how many years is this, Malcolm? 6?
6.
Yeah.
One of these is not going to make it into the Academy Awards, and it's going to be a travesty because all these 6 are fantastic, and it really is. It's a travesty. So something of these 6. I think this is your 5 of your 6 for Academy Awards. Basically, it's really got some amazing cinematography in these 6 films. So we'll see what they decide to knock out. Maybe it's Sinners. I don't know.
Wolf, what are your thoughts about the cinematography category?
I'm looking real quick at my list. Yeah, the one I see, I have them knocking out at the Oscars is F1 and keeping the rest of the 5. But I don't know. But again, that's also all 6 of these, including F1. I have my issues with F1, but but the cinematography,
not the cinematography, buddy,
was not the issue though. That was just like incredibly shot and well filmed. Some of those car sequences and such. So it's really tough. To me, the best cinematography of the year is Train Dreams, at least of all the films I've seen so far. So that to me, I would love to get into the Oscars. I've noticed that every year there's always that what is your artsy fartsy cinematography pick? There's always an artsy fartsy cinema.
He's pulling up suspense.
Yeah, I wonder what that was. I wonder if he's going to say Frankenstein. I wonder what he would have said. I can't. Yeah.
I mean, looking at the list, I'd imagine that might be the one he's going for, because I think
I love Dan Loudson, Malcolm. There you are.
You kind of paused there. Wolf, what was the artsy fartsy pick you're talking about?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was wondering because I saw the black of the things spinning and I was like, what is going on? It was weird. But yeah, Train Dreams, they always do artsy fartsy picks. Like they did Cold War in cinematography. They've done The Lighthouse was its lone nomination for cinematography. Very deserved. They'll sometimes throw you, here's an artsy fartsy pick in cinematography, and that could be Train Dreams or something. Okay. That I think that they could go with technically, and that's not me trying to downgrade the film, by the way. It's in my top 5, top 6 of the year. I love it, but yeah, it's one that the cinematography is just so rich, and every frame is like a painting. That I think that one still sneaks in. But the other ones, the most confident I'm in is Frankenstein, Hamlet, One Battle, and Sinners. Those are definitely in. Those are all really well shot. So, great year for cinematography for sure.
Yeah, I don't have much say on this. All I say is I'm pretty sure F1 is probably the one missing cinematography, especially if it's not going to translate to a Best Picture nomination. I'd say that's the one that's missing cinematography, and it's the other 5 in this that's nominated. But moving on to production design, we've got Fantastic Four: First Steps, Frankenstein, Hamlet, Marty Supreme, Sinners and Wicked for Good. Wolf, what are your thoughts about the nominations for production design?
Again, generic ass sons of bitches. I'm sorry. like generic ass sons of bitches. Like the only cool nomination that any of the Critics' Choice Awards that was like, oh, that was cool and inspired was Surratt and Sound. It was, but it's like I wanted to see some cool ass, like no other choice in production design. Like that's what I was going for, because it's like they
sentimental value, maybe
they actually built the house and everything for no other choice, and they actually built where he works, and they built all those sets. Like everything in there is actual stuff that they took time to actually handcraft. And I was just like, and I thought like that could have been really interesting for production design, or some other really cool, like The Ugly Stepsister, or something like that in production design, or one of these movies, even Testament of Anne Lee, or I don't know, something like that. But like, I don't know, this just feels like all of what you expect, and it's like, okay, that there's nothing surprising here. I mean, Fantastic Four: First Steps,
it's pretty freaking amazing. It's pretty amazing.
I guess you could say it was like surprising or whatever. We should have listened to you, Dan, because we were all like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna do that. And you were like saying, no, they are, and we were like, okay, but again, and it's really great production design. But again, that's like, okay, you take that out, there's your 5. And it's like, they could have thrown us for a loop and been like, oh, is this one going to get in now? But no, it's like, okay, just take that one out, you got your 5. And it's like, okay, kind of generic. But
when it comes to production design, but and what it's one of those ones. I did love the production design in Fantastic Four: First Steps. I am surprised that it didn't get nominated in visual effects at the Critics' Choice, because I did like the visual effects in that as well.
The visual effects. Sorry, the visual effects apparently got a lot of slack. Or a lot of flack, I should say, because apparently the CGI baby. Like if you look at reviews, a lot of people said the CGI baby did not look good. And that's what a lot of reviews were saying. So I think that's going to hurt Fantastic Four: First Steps for visual effects stuff. But
once again, like, no, it's one of those ones when it comes to Fantastic Four. I do think the set is good. It's also the one I'd say is most likely going to miss as well, because so I think Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Wicked for Good. I think those are probably the 5 that I would expect to end up in the Oscars. And like even in Wicked for Good, like there's enough different sets in it for it to be somewhat different from there. So I can see it getting into production design just because there's enough different sets in it for it to go, oh yeah, this is a different set that there wasn't in the first movie and all that. But Dan, what are your thoughts about production design?
Yeah, no, I agree, Malcolm. I mean, I think Wicked gets in out. You had Alphabet's cave, and you had some of the town settings that they didn't really show that much in the first movie. Some of the depths of the Emerald City areas that we didn't see in the first movie and stuff like that. I agree with you on that. I think that gets in because of that. But I as soon as I saw the first trailer of Fantastic Four, I was just like blown away by the production design. I was like, wow, this is 60s neo-futurism at its best. I don't think anybody's ever done neo-futurism that good in any movie I've ever seen. I mean, maybe like Blade Runner or something like that, maybe something. But yeah, I want to see FF get into production. That'd be amazing. That'd be pretty freaking crazy if a Marvel movie could get back into production design. Like Black Panther won that category. So I mean, this is a decent lineup for me. I mean, yeah, it's bland. I understand what Wolf's saying, but
yeah, like imagine if like a Nouvelle Vague would have shown up here.
Oh, that would have been nice.
And it's like, oh, they're recreating old Hollywood or Blue Moon because of the bar or something like that.
That's one bar though. It kind of, I don't know. It's not that impressive. How about sentimental value? If you're gonna say like they recreated that whole house, they built that whole house.
Like sentimental value or something like that. Like I don't know. They could have made it interesting.
But moving on to animated feature, which I think is pretty straightforward. We've got Arco, we've got Elio, we've got In Your Dreams, we've got K-pop Demon Hunters, we've got Little Emily of the character Rain, we've got Zootopia 2. Look, this is pretty standard. I'm kind of glad and surprised at the same time that they're not that Elio isn't left out in the cold. As I thought considering it didn't do well at the box office, considering it kind of wasn't marketed that well, like not many people really would see it. That it wasn't sort of left out, but I mean it's good. I think it's easy, like K-pop. It's easily going to K-pop Demon Hunters, but that's, in my opinion, that's the best anime movie that I've seen this year. I've still got to see Zootopia 2 personally. But In Your Dreams being in here is a nice surprise. But I think the 5 for the Oscars is going to be Arco, Elio, K-pop, and Little Emily, and Zootopia 2. And we'll get to that more into when we get to the Globes, because those are the 5 commonalities of the Globes as well. Dan, what are your thoughts about animated feature?
This is a garbage category. First of all, 3 of these are absolutely terrible. Arco's not a good movie. In Your Dreams is not a good movie. K-pop's, everybody loves K-pop, but the best animated movie of the year, in my opinion, is Neja 2, and it's not in here. It's not going to be in the Academy Awards. It wasn't in the Golden Globe. It's the best animated movie of the year. This year is going to go down. The winner of the Academy Award or any of these categories for any of these awards is going to have an asterisk by it. I will make sure that everybody knows the best animated movie of the year isn't even going to be nominated, and that's Neja 2. I stand by that. I believe that 100%. I don't care what anybody thinks. When you make $3 billion, that should count for something. Just because it didn't make $3 billion in this country doesn't mean it's not $3 billion in the world. That means that many people saw this movie and kept on. I have a friend he's a friend, but he's also one of my writers that writes for my web, seen this movie 8 times in theaters and saw the Chinese dubbed version 7 times. That's how much he loved this movie. And people in other countries love this movie. Just because this country doesn't love it doesn't mean it's not one of the best animated movies of the year. And I will stand by it. And I think Scarlet is better than a couple of these. Where's Scarlet? It's just ridiculous. This is a joke of a category this year. It's a terrible year for animation.
I'm not disagreeing with you, because I said it earlier. Because I said this is going to be like, because there's really not a lot of really heavy hitters.
Zootopia is my favorite of all of these.
Little Amelie is my favorite, or Little Am I Lie, should I say? Because of.
But what I was going to counter your point a little bit, Dan, because I mean I haven't seen Neja 2, so I don't have any opinions on the movie itself. But the majority of the $1 billion it made was primarily all in China, all in the country that it came from, and so the Chinese people really love it, it's just one of those ones I don't know much about the Critics' Choice Awards, but I'm pretty sure they're mostly American. And judging from the box office in America alone, not many people saw Neja 2 and Fetus. So I'm not overly surprised it's missing. Am I surprised a lot of these award things aren't seeing it? Then I kind of am, but it's also one of those ones that I just don't. I get it, but don't get it at the same time. But yeah, but what are your thoughts about animated feature?
God, even if looking at any alternatives, there's still not a lot of good animated alternatives this year either. There's the Twits, Stitchhead, whatever the fuck that is.
David,
Dogman,
David.
Based on the things I've heard about the Bad Guys 2. I mean, Bad Guys 2 is one I'm surprised.
I like that a lot.
Raves, so.
That one I know is good. And Predator Killer Killers, I don't think is eligible
TV.
because it's Hulu, but it's just like that would have been awesome to see in there. But see, this is again what I'm talking about. The Critics' Choice are a bunch of generic asked, just okay, we just want to throw in what is the basic, basically vanilla coated kind of picks that you can go with, and that stands for all their categories except for Surratt and Sound. That's literally like the only surprise they had. Everything else in all these other categories have just been, okay, we expected that. Okay, we expected that. Okay, we expected that. Okay, we expected that. It's just like that over and over again. And it's just kind of boring when you're looking at this at the lineup. The Golden Globes now did something cool. No one in a lineup of 6 had thought Demon Slayer was going to get nominated. Then they were like, oh, here's Demon Slayer. And it's like, whoa, what? And that was at least like a kind of a cool shock to the system. But here in a lineup of 6, a lot of people are predicting it in your dreams. So this is generic. And it was just like, okay, this is like whatever. It's just it's the same boring ass choices that they could have gone with. And trust me, there will be a rant for Neja 2, not here because I haven't seen it yet, but in box office achievement at the Golden Globe Awards. That will be my rant for that category. But yeah, it's boring. But yeah, I guess it's between Zootopia and K2 and K-pop Demon Hunters, and you know.
I mean, look. Let's face it. It was always going to be between those 2 movies with no.
Oh yeah.
I mean, although I mean, some other ones, like depending on how you feel about Arco's, like I don't know what that movie.
It's not that good.
I've heard of it before. But it's like that could be a outside chance to take them both out. But it's like the way I see it, like K-pop Demon Hunters and Zootopia, I think are the 2 ones that are the 2 heavy favorites that I kind of expect one of them to win animated feature of the Oscars. So I think they're the heavy favorites. But yeah,
K-pop Demon Hunters does technically have an international backing behind it because it's about K-pop, it's about Korea. It has that kind of international flair to it that appeals to all members of the Academy. While Zootopia 2 is very, very American, and look at what's been happening in the past, like The Boy and the Heron winning, Flow winning, like they like a lot of times it seems like more international kind of contenders are what's kind of winning this category.
Well, yeah, I mean it's one of those ones like, I get that point a little bit, but it's also one of those ones that like in the past few years, I think the international has been, but I think that's mostly because like the other alternative, like the American alternatives, wasn't that strong. I think Zootopia 2, because it is a sequel to a beloved Disney movie, I think that has a stronger shot at winning and showing that Disney still has what it takes. I think if an American movie is going to take out the international one this year, I think Zootopia 2 is the one that has the best shot at doing it, because it is a sequel to a beloved anime movie, which I think also won Best Animated Feature, if I remember right.
It did.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's one of those ones, and that's why I think it's definitely either K-pop or Zootopia 2 easily.
Well, if I'm not to go off on something else. If it wins song, I think it's going to come along with animated feature. I think they're going to go hand in hand with Golden and then animated feature. I honestly think Zootopia 2 isn't as good as Zootopia.
Well,
and I think K-pop took the world by storm in a way, Malcolm. So that's why I see that.
To look at it the other way, I can see K-pop taking song because the song is really popular. Well, yes, the movie is also really popular. I can see them maybe splitting between animated feature and song potentially.
Interesting.
I think that is a legit possibility as well. I think it ultimately it's going to depend how much the Academy love both the movies. I think if they really love Zootopia 2 a lot more than K-pop Demon Hunters, but they like the song from K-pop Demon Hunters more than the Zootopia 2 song, then I can see it splitting between them.
And I think a good stat to look back on, if you is look at how many times animated feature and song have gone together. I think it was in Encanto. What's the little boy in Mexico one? What was that one?
Yeah, Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.
It's done a few times over the years that animated and song have gone together. So that's a stat to kind of keep.
I'm not saying you're wrong there at all. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if it goes one of two ways. I'm going to skip through a couple of these categories really quickly because a lot of them won't have any Oscar sort of ramifications. The best comedy at the Critics' Choice, we had The Ballad of Wallace Island, Eternity, Friendship, Naked Gun, Phoenician Scheme, and Splitsville. A lot of the ones I kind of expected to see here.
We were way off. This. We got like the Naked Gun. That was it in terms of predicting. It was like, geez.
Yeah. But we got Naked Gun though. We stuck by our guns. No pun intended.
But moving on to casting and ensemble, we've got Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Wicked for Good.
Can I make just a very slight rant? Why is this called casting and ensemble? I don't get it. Call it one or the other, ensemble, or call it casting. Casting can be different than the ensemble. Casting can be like how well the actors fit their roles and everything like that, and it's just kind of like, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones. I get there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like I get it. It's one of those ones that doesn't bother me too much either. Because once again, we don't really know how the Oscars are going to do their casting award either, on whether it's going to be based on the ensemble of actors they cast in this movie. But once again, it's what it is. I'm not going to spend too much. I wouldn't be surprised if at least 5 of the 6 is going to be the nominations as best casting at the Oscars next. Just quickly going to talk about young performer. We've got at the Critics' Choice they had Everett Blanc from The Plague, Miles Caton from Sinners, Carrie Christopher from Weapons, Shannon Mahina Gorman from Mental Family, Jacoby Jupe from Hamnet, and Nina Yee from The Left-Handed Girl.
Great category. Great
Love
category.
that the kid from The Plague got in there. By the way.
What a great category! What a great category! I love this category.
Yeah, I know, Dan. We've had a lot of talks about young performer categories that you think they should be at the head of the Oscars, which I don't necessarily disagree with you with. But moving on to the screenplay awards for adapted screenplay, we've got One Battle After Another, Train Dreams, No Other Choice, Frankenstein, Begonia, and Hamnet. And might as well do them both at the same time. And original screenplay, we've got Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Sinners, Weapons, Sorry Baby, and Sentimental Value. And that, as well, those ones like I really love the nominations in both of these. I would love if Weapons got into original screenplay at the Oscars. But unfortunately, because I think from the way I'm seeing things going, I think Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Sentimental Value are 4 that I think definitely getting into original screenplay. And I think that 5th spot is going to be either Sorry Baby or Weapons. I haven't seen Sorry Baby. I was going to blind buy it the other day, but it ended up
so good. It's so good.
Won't be your cup of tea, Malcolm. I have a feeling.
Hey, I don't let people try to say that they don't.
No, I know. I'm just giving my 2 cents. I don't think it's your cup of tea, Malcolm. That's it. You watch whatever. I never discourage people from watching things. I just don't think you'll like it, but that's just me.
I mean,
I'll tell you right now, I don't see Jay Kelly getting in screenplay at the Oscars. I think you hit the nail. Sorry Baby has got a better. I mean, it's got A24's got to get behind it. I think Jay Kelly is a ripoff of High Noon. I think Noah Baumbach rips off a whole nother movie in the script for Jay Kelly. I hope enough people will see that. I hope the writing branch will see that. original is there's a lot of good scripts out there in original screenplay that could be put in here. I mean, I don't see Jay Kelly as one of the best screenplays of the year. I just don't see it. But Wolf, you got something else to say?
Yeah, so I got something interesting to say. First off, I want to say
how about the way real quick, Wolf? Foreign films. Where are the foreign film screenplays? How about getting some of them in here?
Yeah, Cinema Value.
Yes,
it was just an accident. Was that there in the original?
It was just an accident, isn't there?
Yeah, where are the foreign films in these?
Yeah, there
is foreign representation in both these categories. Sentimental Values nominated original, no other choices and adapted. There's foreign film representation.
All
both.
All right.
So there are, but with that said, though, I do want to say, it's only one, and there's really great, and one in each category, and there's really great screenplays in international stuff. The Secret Agent. Mwah, the writing of that movie is just so elegant. And then you get, to me, it was just an accident. It's like, I think has potential to be that Anatomy of a Fall winner, actually, that could take screenplay while like PTA takes director and adapted screenplay. I think that like you can get PTA winning those, but original screenplay would go to Jafar Panahi. That's like kind of what I'm feeling. And so I think there are going to be some movies here that miss for that. I think, Sentimental Value will get in. I think Marty Supreme. I think Sinners. And then for me, I have also, it was just an accident. And then either Weapons, because they do like to sometimes go that, let's go nominate Logan for only one like screenplay nom or do something like that, and they'll nominate something every once in a while. Maybe Sorry Baby only gets screenplay, and that's it. And I can see something like that as like a lone screenplay nom for the film. I would love it because I loved seeing that here. It was very deserving. It's one of my favorite scripts of the year. Very, very beautiful screenplay. I'm also being on the lookout, even though it's not here. I am being on the lookout the more and more and more. And we'll talk about it once we get to the Globes, and how Blue Moon is creeping up places. And that's a very righty movie. It's literally people in a bar talking, literally, and that's the entire film, is people in a bar talking, and you are completely captivated by it throughout the whole thing. And so because of how righty it is, and because Sony Pictures Classics is behind it, they are extremely good at getting nominations. I could see that surprising as well. But the thing is, while I'm probably not going to love Jay Kelly either, I will say Netflix is unfortunately backing that film, and Netflix is extremely good at campaigning and stuff in there. So I do think Jay Kelly can still sneak in there for best screenplay.
Yeah, and I mean, slightly unrelated to this, I was just going to say, that's why I can't pause. I've seen some movies this year that I didn't think I was going to like that I ended up loving a lot. There's a Bob Trevino likes it. I didn't think I was going to love as much as other people would. And Bring Her Back, I didn't think I was going to love as much as other people would. But I really love both those movies. So
good. Oh, that's good, man.
It's one of those. It's one of those ones. Like, I always hate it when people try to guess my taste and say, I don't think you're going to like that movie. It's like, I'm just going to watch everything. I watch everything. So
no. I never discourage people from seeing things.
But moving on to supporting actress, we've got Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Inga Ibsdotter lives. Yeah, however you pronounce, also from Sentimental Value. Amy Madigan from Weapons, Wunmi Musaku from Sinners, and Tiana Taylor from One Battle After Another. This is a really good, this is a good, actually, like a pretty good line. And it's one of those ones I'm kind of glad to see, like, some representation for, like, Elle Fanning, who I've always thought is a good actress. Actually getting some, like, nominations for something, seeing her pop up. And this one is kind of going to be tough. Is like I haven't seen Sinners, but it's just one of those ones. Like I kind of feel that based on other things I've kind of seen, I kind of feel she's probably the one that might be on the outside, and will get like, and the other 5 other ones will get that's going to get into supporting actress, unless there's another one from left field that's going to come in that's going to take out one of these sentimental value people. But other than that, I think this is a good lineup. I think at least 5 of the 6 we could see like at the Oscars. But Dan, what are your thoughts about supporting actress?
Yeah, Malcolm, I agree with quite a bit with what you said. Yeah, I actually think the girl from Sinners, because she's going to come along with Sinners, and they're going to bring people like Michael B. Jordan. They're going to bring her. They're going to bring some of the technical people. They're going to try to find ways to get that movie nominated. And I think, I mean, look, I like the Elle Fanning character in Sentimental Value. I really do. And I like the sister, too, in Sentimental Value. I don't think they get both of them in. I feel like both of them are not going to get into the 5. I mean, if they do, hey, good thing. I don't know if 20th Century Studios is campaigning her, but I loved Elle Fanning in Predator Badlands. But are they going to campaign her and supporting actor for that? That would be amazing.
She missed for A Complete Unknown.
That would be pretty freaking cool if Elle Fanning got in for that. But yeah, I don't think both of the Sentimental Value actresses are going to get in. I think it's one or the other, and that's your 5, because I believe what's her name from Sinners is going to get in. They want to keep these categories diverse, I feel, and she would help with that.
But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the supporting actress nominations?
I'm doing my like burn after reading victory dance right now, because I want to say this, because I was the one that had to convince Jonathan and Dan that Wumu Masaku was going to be nominated. I was like, guys, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Trust me. And it did. And that was one of my calls that I called there, because the fact that she beat men and women at the Gotham Awards for best supporting performance tells you how strong that performance is according to voters and such. And so I really think that is a huge indicator there.
No, you're right.
And to me, I while people are saying that, like, I mean, we are going to have some diversity, because we are going to have Tiana Taylor in there, which is going to be good. But like, but I think they're going to want to have extra diversity. And I do right now see potential for Inga to actually maybe be the winner of this category, potentially.
Wow.
Only because, not necessarily at Critics' Choice. I think you're going to get Ariana or Amy Madigan at Critics' Choice. I think you might get one of them at SAG, but then Globes and BAFTA that are very a pip pip the doodly doo, like international now, kind of like fancy, like drinking wine glasses with their pinky up kind of picks, are going to go with Inga from Sentimental Value, deservedly so, because she's excellent. And I think that's going to benefit her, because BAFTAs are such a massive indicator now in what wins at the Oscars. And I just don't see, the BAFTAs championing something like Wicked or Weapons. I would see them championing something like Sentimental Value, though, or Sinners, or One Battle, for sure. So
that being said, Amy Madigan's got this, right?
With Critics' Choice, definitely. Yeah. With Critics' Choice, I think she definitely has it. I think she's got it at Critics' Choice and potentially at the SAG Awards as well. And people are going to think, oh, this is going to be great. She's going to finally win, and then Inga from her. But I will say that one of the things I want to point out here, I'm starting to feel like both Marty Supreme ladies are dead. I feel like they decided like to cancel them both out when they're voting, I guess. And it's just like they couldn't pick which one was better. So they were like, okay, we're just going to not go with either, because they missed here and they missed the Globes. So that's a big indicator that just neither one of them are going to get nominated. So,
yeah. I don't know much more there. I mean, it's one of those ones I do I mean, I do kind of slightly disagree with Wolf's assessment of the Globes of like them going. I'll try and get the international person to win. Well, yes, the
new Globes. I'm not talking old Globes. I'm talking new Globes, like the new expanded voting
I think I still disagree with that a little bit.
Because Fernanda Torres won the Globe at the actual last year. Just last year, she won the Globe and everything.
But,
so
once again, I'm not necessarily saying that it's not going to happen. I'm just disagreeing. I'm just disagreeing because it's going to happen all the time. Just because, just because they are more international now. There's one of those ones like it all depends on how much they loved the performances of like Amy and Ariana. I think there's a good chance they may have loved their performances more than Inga. I think it just happened last year. They loved Fernanda Torres. They just loved that performance a lot, and that's so. So it's one of those ones like it's really it's really kind of hard to tell where people get it. Like things get lie here, but moving on to supporting actor. We've got Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Paul Mescal, Sean Penn, Adam Sandler, and Stellan Skarsgård. I think this is a good lineup. Unfortunately, I do think Adam Sandler's the one it's going to be not Adam Sandler's year to get nominated for an Oscar. I know how much people like Brian is just like wanting that to happen. So, I think the other 5 in this category are going to be nominated, unless something weird happens and somehow short one of the One Battle After Another guys drops off completely and only one of them gets nominated. I think that's the only way I can see maybe Adam Sandler maybe sneaking into supporting actor, but it's not something I'm going to predict. I'm going to still predict both Benicio and Sean Penn getting nominated because at the moment they're both looking really strong. But Dan, what are your thoughts about supporting actor?
Now, Malcolm, you took the words right out of my mouth. Get Adam Sandler out of there. Look, I liked him in the movie, and I liked the movie. I still have my problems with the movie being a ripoff of High Noon. That being said, he ain't getting in the Oscars 5. And yeah, he ain't going to win this category. It's going to be one of those. I think you're right, Malcolm. I think I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to say the winner of this category is going to be one battle after the other actors. And I'm going to go with Benicio del Toro.
And Wolf, what are your thoughts about supporting actor?
Yeah, as of late, all the discussions I've been hearing from One Battle After Another is like Leonardo DiCaprio's Bob, because people were literally dressing up as him. That's just everyone's favorite type of character is Bob. And then also Sensei. Those are the 2 people that you remember the most is Bob and Sensei. Those are the 2, that duo and everything that happens with those 2. And also the thing that helps Benicio is it is a true supporting performance. You can almost argue that Sean Penn is kind of co-lead because he is in a lot of the movie, but and how much screen time he has, but Benicio is for sure just a supporting performance, and so it fits in that category. And I do think he's going to be doing very well. My pick, though, I do think, and maybe not Critics' Choice. I could see Critics' Choice going with one of the One Battle people, but when you look at Globes, BAFTA, potentially SAG, even all that, I think that there's going to be an overdue narrative for Stellan Skarsgård. I think that
you're right.
Every year there's always that, hey, we love you. You are overdue. That was Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. That was Zendaya.
I forgot about that.
That was Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. All these other.
I forgot.
All these other people in these categories. And it's always in this category. I noticed that all those overdue narratives are usually in supporting categories, and so I feel it could be Amy Madigan with Weapons, but I feel mostly it's all that talk is going to go towards Stellan Skarsgård, especially after the news that he had to have an earpiece in his ear apparently to do some of the lines because he suffered a stroke right before filming, and it was kind of hard for him to still do it, but he still delivered that good of a performance despite how hard it was for him to do that, to do the role and everything. So,
I forgot all about it, Wolf. I forgot. I take my thing. I think you're right. Stellan Skarsgård is going to win the Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones like it could go either way. I think it depends on how many of those like career Oscars they're going to give, because like for the same reasons I could see maybe Benicio getting it too, because I don't think he's been overly successful.
He's already won though. He's
25 years ago to the year. It would be 25 years ago to the year that he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Traffic.
Yeah. So
isn't that crazy? It's been 25 years for Benicio winning an Academy Award.
Jeez. That's
But moving on to Best Actress, we've got Jessie Buckley from Hamnet, Rose Byrne from If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Chase Infinity from One Battle After Another, Renate Reinsviv from Sentimental Value, Amanda Seyfried from Testament and Lee, and Emma Stone from Begonia. Dan, what are your thoughts about the actress lineup?
Yeah, these are your six. I mean, I'd be shocked if Jessie Buckley doesn't win. But that being said, Rose Byrne has been gaining on Jessie Buckley in places like New York and LA and getting nominations all over the place. Wow, would it be a shocker on Oscars Sunday or whatever? I think it's if Rose Byrne came from all the ways back and took over Jessie Buckley. That'd be a wild. That being said, I got Jessie Buckley here. I think, and I know people are going to be, you don't know what you're. Emma Stone, you're out of there. You're not going to get nominated for an Oscar. I think the other five are in there. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
Wolf, what are your thoughts about actress?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I am the exact same way. I think that the five is going to be basically this 5 minus Emma Stone. You'll get Chase Infinity, but Emma Stone though is also kind of like a Meryl Streep of this generation, where if she's in a movie, she gets nominated, kind of deal. It's like Birdman, Poor Things, The Favorite, all these different ones. Like if she's in a movie, she gets nominated, and it's just like that is like what happens a lot. So I could see, especially if it's going to be in Best Picture, I don't know. I could see that happening. I do think that Jessie Buckley is going to win this, but I agree. Rose Byrne is getting up there and creeping up. And I will say this, because Jessie Buckley has been in there has been in the industry a shorter time. Rose Byrne could also be that overdue narrative. Could be like, hey, you've been working in the industry since like the 90s, early 2000s. Like you've been around for a very, very long time in the industry, and you just haven't garnished any of that respect you are due and deserve. And so they could do that kind of award for Rose Byrne as well. We'll have to see, but yeah, I mean, I think it's no longer Jessie's just gonna sweep. I think now it is a actual race on our hands, a 2-horse race, because Rose Byrne has actually, I think she beat Jessie Buckley at LA Film Critics or something like that. It was one of those.
She won New York too, right?
Yeah, and she won New York. So there's a few of those where you're like, now Rose Byrne's starting to show some legs, pun intended. But yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on that.
Oh, we'll have to just wait and see if Rose Byrne will kick Jessie Buckley, but yeah, this is kind of because Emma Stone is kind of one of those ones that I think the Oscars love. So it's one of those ones like and once again, I'm still yet to see Begonia, so I don't know too much about this performance, but I can see him maybe getting into the Oscar 5 and maybe seeing like maybe, and this might be a little bit controversial because I do think she's great in the movie, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it's Chase Infinity that kind of doesn't get nominated just because it's her first one, but she's one of those actresses I think I can see being someone like Jessie Buckley that could got nominated again and again.
Yeah, and with the exception of Mikey Madison last year, the Oscars have a bad track record of like young people nominating young people, especially someone who's just starting off in the industry.
Because once again, but I think if I remember rightly, I think for a previous role of Jessie Buckley's like Rolled Rose, I think everyone's going, "Oh, she's going to get nominated," but she didn't. So, and that's kind of what I was going with Chase. Maybe it might be something similar like that. But as well as ones like whatever 5 of the 6 gets nominated, I wouldn't be too surprised, and I would be happy with any 5 that get nominated. But moving on to actor, we've got Timothy Chalamet for Marty Supreme. We've got Leo for One Battle After Another. We've got Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams. We've got Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. We've got Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. And we've got Ragnar Moore for The Secret Agent. Wolf, what are your thoughts about actor?
All right. So I have now decided that I have a new winner of this category. So it's actually a toss-up between 2. But for me, I actually am not, and I haven't seen Marty Supreme yet. But I'm actually not on this Timothy Chalamet train right now. And the only reason why is, again, that young person bias at the Oscars that, other than Mikey Madison, that rarely happens where someone that young ends up really taking home an Academy Award with them. I saw The Secret Agent at a film festival, and you know that a movie is like that, a performance is fucking phenomenal when literally just the name pops up in the credits and the entire crowd erupts with applause after that. And no one else in the movie, by the way, got any applause when the names popped up in the credits. But the moment Wagner Moura shows up, everyone applauded in the credits after the movie was over. It was just like, that just tells you how beloved this performance is. And this is a very American-centric award show, and he still got in. I didn't think he was going to get in at Critics' Choice. I thought he was going to get in almost everywhere else except Critics' Choice because of how American-centric they are. But he ended up getting in here. So I'm thinking that he is showing a real threat. And then also, my second place person is actually Ethan Hawke. Because what if they decided to go that career route and say, hey, Ethan Hawke is like delivering his career best work, in my opinion. And he has been around Boyhood, the Before trilogy, all these other films, Training Day, all these great films for decades and decades and decades. He has been around and has not gotten that due of actually winning an Oscar, winning a major award like this. So, like, I could see a world where Ethan Hawke ends up actually taking this and taking maybe the Globe and all this stuff like that. And you know, we'll talk about Blue Moon more once we get to the Globes, but I'm starting to see some sneakiness to that movie.
This is one of those ones like, once again, similar to what I said about actress, like I wouldn't be too upset if any of the whichever 5 of the 6 gets nominated. If I was to make a prediction, like as much as I hear a lot about his performance in Sinners, I kind of feel like Michael B. Jordan is the one that could end up missing. Just especially if Ragnar Moore is as strong as Wolf says, which it is looking like he is, just because his once again, he's popping up a lot of places. But it's one of those ones which I think, but just one of those ones. But I think the other five, I think, like even Hawks picking up steam, like Timothy, Leo, and Joe, I think we're all kind of in the conversation. So yeah, but then what are your thoughts about actor?
Yeah, unfortunately, Wolf, I disagree with you. Yeah, this is Timmy's year. If anybody's going to take it from Timmy, it's going to be Leo, because he's going to go right along with the train that is one battle after another. And I do agree with Malcolm. I think if anybody can miss, because it's been so long for Sinners, and that's Michael B. Jordan. And he's in a genre film, so I think genre has proven that it has problems, and the Academy, it's been getting in here and there lately, but I think it's Timmy's year. He's been nominated twice. This will be his third nomination if he gets the Academy Award. I think it's the best performance of his entire career. I think people they're gonna finally say, okay, Timmy, it's your turn. If anybody could upset Timmy, it's Leo, because he's in that big blockbuster, big train that is one battle after another. They're going to be walking up those steps, collecting those trophies. That's the only person that beats Timmy, in my opinion. I do like Wagner Moura and Ethan Hawke. I think they both get nominated, but I think it's Timmy all the way.
I mean, look, I see it's one of those ones. Like I was say, like at this point, it's really hard to predict like who's going to win, but I think if Wagner Moura starts winning once they start once.
Well, you got to be careful, Malcolm. Not to interrupt you there, but you got to be careful about the Globes, because the Globes did create a crazy fervor for Fernando Torres, but it's because of the Brazilian contingent of the Globes, and they could do that with Wagner Moura. But will that translate into the Academy Awards? Going to Britain, now that's a different story, because Britain don't necessarily have to just jump on the bandwagon with South America if they don't want to. Now, if they do, they jump on the bandwagon, give him a nomination there, and he gets a nomination and win at the Globes. The key then would be SAG.
Well, that's me. That's what I was about to say before you got into that. Is that when these big things start announcing winners, if Wagner Moura starts winning a lot of places, including SAG, then I think he's got a bigger chance of winning actor than Timothée Chalamet. If Timothée Chalamet starts winning a lot, then it's still going to go to Timothy. But moving on to director, because we probably have a lot of these same discussions when we get to the Globes in a minute. We've got Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. As well as, once again, similar to what I said, these I think we get the Oscar 5 is going to be the 5 out of the 6. And once again, now this is one of those ones I do think is interesting, because I think One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, and Marty Supreme, I think from what I've been gathering from hearing about, I think those are the 4 that are most likely going to get in. Then it's going to come down to which of the horror films is going to get into directors. I think it's either going to be Sinners or Frankenstein. I just haven't decided which one we're going to get yet. I would lean towards Frankenstein just because it's the more recent one to be released out of the 2. But Oscars do love Ryan Coogler a lot, but they do as well. So who knows? Dan, what are your thoughts about the director lineup?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting lineup. This is such a stacked field that there's some names left out of this lineup. I mean, and I thought Critics' Choice, correct me if I'm wrong, could go with 7 or 8 directors if they wanted to, right? How many do they got here? How many do they have here, Malcolm?
It's only 6.
They could have went with 7 or 8, and they only went with 6. So that's very fascinating to me that they only went with those 6, because it's such a stacked lineup in director. You know what I mean? Wow. This is gonna be. But you gotta say one of the neon guys are gonna get in, right? So Trier's in here, right? So one of them neon guys is probably gonna get into the Oscar 5 of director. Is it gonna be Trier? Is it gonna be
both? I think
the guy from It Was Just an Accident. Is it going to be the director Park Chan-wook from? Is he banned right now because of the writers' branch? Does the writers' branch cross over? Would he happen there? Does that cross over into
not with the Oscars
getting into director?
Not with the Oscars, no.
Okay,
he won't get into WGA because of it.
Yeah. So I mean,
am I missing something then?
Huh?
So what's the story about? Why is Park Chan-wook banned?
He did a show on HBO and he was working on it during COVID, when it was the writer's strike. During the writer's strike, he worked on a show, supposedly was writing on the show during the writer's strike. So he got penalized and kicked out of the Writers Guild or something like that. And then another one happened to somebody else too. I forget, somebody else got knocked off the Writers Guild because of that writing during the writer's strike. But this is such a stacked field of directors, man. It's shocking that they only did 6 here, not like 8 like they've done in the past, right, Wolf?
Yeah, I am surprised. Yeah, they went 6 in all the categories except for picture. It seems like this year they wanted to kind of keep it more focused in on just doing 6, which I can respect. But to me, I think what you're going to wind up getting is a situation of this will be your 5 minus Josh Safdie. I don't know if they're that cool yet. I don't know if they're that cool yet to say Uncut Gem director type person. I don't know.
It's a better film than Uncut Gems. It's a better film.
But I will say, to me, I think Jafar Panahi, because of that recent story that came out too, of like him being banned to ever leave his home now after coming back, and he is serving 1 year in prison for making a movie that basically is retaliating against his own government. I think that is going to be a story in and of itself to push him to that director nomination, as we are doing this as a message, because we are angry at what is happening and all that stuff. And I think that's going to be kind of why he's there. Also, I did statistics once, and apparently the past like 5 or 6 years, whatever was like the Palme d'Or winner minus Titan, every other Palme d'Or winner has gone on to be nominated for Best Director at the Oscars. So I think that that's kind of a sign that you can see that.
Yeah, this is going to be a bloodbath in director this year. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones I was going to save this for we got the Globe, but seeing the Wolf was up now. One thing that does worry me a little bit is and I haven't seen it. It Was Just an Accident. I don't know if I'll ever see it, to be honest. But it does worry me that that it does make me wonder if people are nominating him for the right reasons and not because of the real life political reasons, because that's things like people are going to be like, oh, they're just nominating him because they feel bad for him because of his situation and all that. It was like, and I think that and that's kind of worries me that's going to be the conversation that's going to overtake it, and not if his movie is really good. That I know that both Kara and Wolf have said that they've seen the movie. I know that.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
But yeah, so that's the one thing that does kind of worry me a bit. If he does pick up steam and get nominated for the Oscar, is that the conversation won't be, oh, it's because this movie is good. It's because they feel sorry for him, and I think they could impact it negatively. But moving on to Best Picture, we've got Begonia, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Hamlet, we've got J. Kelly, we've got Marty Supreme, we've got One Battle of Another, Sentimental Valley, we've got Sinners, we've got Train Dreams, we've got Wicked for Good. We talked about this kind of at length with the other things we're probably going to talk about when we get to the Globes again. But once again, I think we've got a good handle of, so I won't go into too much discussion here because we've already talked about it.
We know it's one battle.
We
know it's one battle, right?
One battle is winning this. It's not even a contest. I predicted F1 or Weapons to get the last slot because Weapons was very critically loved and people really thought it was great. And I did think that they would maybe want to go with F1 because the Critics' Choice in the past have shown that they love dad movies. Like they nominated like solely for Best Picture and all that stuff. They love dad movies, so I thought that like maybe that would be something that they picked there, but they didn't.
But
and also no other choice missing again in picture and director like that. I'm just really upset.
But that's different though. It's a different group. It's America. It's critics from America, Wolf. You can't. I don't think you can correlate it that much. And kind of wait till we start seeing some of these foreign bodies. If they start snubbing No Other Choice and Park Chan-wook, then you got to start worrying.
I think it's going to come down to like how strong the other international movies are because I think like there's No Other Choice. I think the two foreign movies we're going to see get a lot of love is probably going to be It Was Just an Accident and Sentimental Valley. I think those are the two big ones we're going to see. Nothing against No Other Choice, but if that's looking like it's not sort of getting into a lot of places now, I don't see it translating to a lot of Oscars either. But moving on to the final thing we're going to talk about, which is Golden Globes. First thing is why is Best Podcast an award?
Oh, you're just mad because your podcast wasn't nominated.
I mean, yeah, I am, but what it's one of those ones like, like I just don't really get it. As I mean, I get that's probably a dig at Joe Rogan too, who is mad that his podcast didn't get nominated. But I just don't understand why we need this award at the Globes. But once again, similar to what I did with the Critics' Choice, going to not worry about the TV stuff. But I'm going to start from the bottom.
By the way, wait a second here. I thought you said you had to go to work at 9.
I mean, I've got a little bit of a grace time, so we've only got like the Golden Globes, which is not as much categories as the Critics' Choice. We can get through this.
Okay.
Because a lot of the things are stuff we've talked about before as well. Because I usually start getting ready for work around 9, but I can get like it. I usually leave about 30:30 anyway. So just quickly, the honorary, the Cecil B. DeMille Award's going to Helen Mirren, which I think is much deserved. But starting with Best Original Song, nominated at the Golden Globes, we've got Dream As One from Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, No Place Like Home from Wicked for Good, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. First of all, I feel really bad for Marlon.
Ludwig G. Ronson, as he's...
Well, that wasn't the one I was getting at, but it's like just him having to read all the names out, even that worked at for Golden. It's like I feel. I mean, yes, there was some nominations he did. There's like I don't know how he got that wrong, but I don't hate this lineup for Best Original Song. And it's one of those ones like this is going to be interesting because I looked this up earlier. Diane Warren doesn't have a connection with the Globes as much, so there's still a chance she's going to get in over a couple of these. But I think Golden, I Lied to You, are most ever getting in. I think we're getting at least one of the Wicked for Good songs at the Oscars, if not both of them, maybe. And then, and if we get both of those, it's going to come down to either Train Dreams or Dreamers Run, if ours gets in. But I think this is a good lineup for original song. I really do like the song from Avatar: Fire and Ash, because that has actually been released on now, so people can listen to that song. It's a really good song. And
it's Miley, and they want to get her at her.
Well, I mean,
they want to get her.
Well, what I was about to say, she didn't get in for the last showgirl last year. And I think she should.
But that's a different movie. This is Avatar. This is Avatar. This is not that movie.
Well,
I mean, you make a good point, Malcolm.
At first, I thought it was Billie Eilish because the awards expert app, when it was first starting, it said Billie Eilish under the name, and I was like, oh, is this Billie Eilish? Because I thought if that was the case, it was going to instantaneously be a nomination, but it was not. So
no, it's Miley.
Yeah,
and it's good. It is a good song. You're right, Malcolm. This is Golden. Golden's going to come along. It's going to win animated. It's going to win this. Just put it in the bank. Put it in the bank.
But
gold money, golden bank.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Somebody else talk. Go ahead.
But Wolf, any thoughts on original song that you haven't said before?
Not really. All the same thoughts here. I thought, they were not going to do both Wicked songs, and that maybe Testament of Ann Lee or two Sinner songs were going to get in, but both Wicked songs got in. And, still while a better year for song than last year, still kind of a weaker year for song this year. So, I don't care. I guess Golden wins. That's all.
But moving on to everyone's favorite award, the Cinematic and Box Office Favorite Award. Nominated, we've got Avatar: Fire and Ash, F1, K-pop Demon Hunters, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, Sinners, Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2. Look, I'm gonna say it. Why the hell is Avatar: Fire and Ash there? It's not out. I get it's predicted to do well, but I look back into the short history of this award. They didn't nominate Avatar: The Way of Water that year that came out. So it's like, why are they doing it now? Like, I get it. Predictions are probably like, oh yeah, it's probably going to do well, but that shouldn't matter. And look, even though the majority of the box office was in China, I think Nazar 2 should have been here. And so that's kind of a big outlier, and it's always but it's good to see Weapons here. I'm glad to see Zootopia 2 here, because that did make a lot of money just in its first weekend. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's at $1 billion now. I haven't looked it up recently. It has to be, because it was 9:15 last I checked. And both Weapons and Sinners getting in. Honestly, you could have put a whole bunch of Warner Brothers movies in here, and I would have been fine with it. So it was Warner Brothers as a whole, made bank. So, but Dad, any thoughts on Cinematic Box Office that hasn't been seen?
No, I mean, I agree exactly with everything you just said, Malcolm. Neja 2 in, Avatar out, and I love Avatar, but it hasn't made any money. You can't put a movie in the box office, blah, 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 if it doesn't make any money. If this award show was in 5 months, and that's the category, put it in there. Not a month from, okay, is it going to make $1 billion, $2 billion in a month when the award actually is handed out on January 11th? You never know. What, 3 weeks, 4 weeks is it? I can't remember how many weeks. And then they say, see, we told you. See, we predicted it. That's why we put it on here. No, you can't do that. But Neja 2 has made $3 billion. Why isn't it not on here? Dumb. This is why Golden Globes are Golden Globes. They Golden Globe every single time, even the new Golden Globes. are making mistakes like the old Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wolf. You say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, no, I'm right there, mostly in line with you two. I'm kind of upset at all that, and also I did look up a rule too, and apparently because it does also say cinematic in achievement as well, that technically any success that comes from streaming can also still benefit in this category. That's why K-pop Demon Hunters is here. I mean, yeah, it did really well in that first re-release, or in that first release it did, the sing-along edition, but also because it's been #1 on like Netflix film of all time, and it's like the charts of how many people watched it. It also classifies under that. So that I'm more okay with. I can understand that more. But my big thing too here is, other than the Neja 2 situation and the Avatar stupid whatever they're doing, my big issue that I have here is, why the hell is Mission Infloppable here, when is what I'm going to call it, instead of, because like these movies, they don't make money. Yeah, the last one was like the highest grossing, you could say, but like these are passion projects, these are passion films. They don't make that much money or compared to their budgets. And the film that released that weekend, the same weekend as Mission Impossible, was the first movie to get into the $1 billion club this year, and that was Lilo and Stitch. How is Lilo and Stitch not here when that film has joined the $1 billion club? That film made a ton of money, and yet it's not here with all this other stuff. And Mission Impossible, which didn't even scratch $1 billion, isn't here. So it's just like, it's really good.
One thing I'll say about that is, I don't think the Globes have really defined on what this award means. Like, well, yeah, like box office achievement, you would think is ones that make money, but I think looking at the cinematic achievement side of things as well, so I think they're looking at like the actual cinematic of the movie as well. I think in that point of view, I think Mission Impossible does still belong in here, but I do agree with you that Lilo and Stitch should have been here too. But even to use that to that example, we'll get to it when we get to the like animated films, like Demon Slayer could have been in the because like no one expected that to make as much money as it did, and it because I think it was the #1 movie of that first weekend it came out too. So it's like,
yeah, it was. And so I would take out Fire and Ash because we haven't seen it and we don't know the projections. I would take Asia, and I would take out Mission Impossible and put in Lilo and Stitch, in my opinion. But
but yeah, moving on, we've got score. We've got Alexander Desplat, Frankenstein, Ludwig Göransson, or Ludwig G. Göransson for Sinners. We've got Johnny Greenwood for One Barrel Over Another. We've got Kanding Ray for Surat, and we've got Max Richter for Hamnet and Hans Zimmer for F1. Pretty much the same as what we had in the Critics' Choice. And pretty much I feel like we both all have the same thoughts that at least 5 of these are going to get into the Oscars. But yeah, any other thoughts on
really, the Surat score? You like the Surat? Do you like
my #1 score of the year? Surat had an amazing score. I love the techno kind of beat, that kind of stuff. Like
it didn't resonate with me as much as you.
So
yeah.
Right.
I mean, what I was getting at is like with Surat getting into score for the Critics' Choice and at the Globes, I think the score for Surat is probably stronger than what we might initially think. So I can see that getting into the 5 at the Oscars.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and it's got that like rave kind of like popish kind of Challengers won last year, and it's got that same kind of kind of deal that like
I remember the score. I just don't remember it as fondly as you do.
Yeah.
But moving on to Best Screenplay, which they've put both original and adapted in the same category.
Why aren't they splitting these? That's dumb.
Yeah.
They need to make room for the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award. That's right.
They need to make room for best podcast. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that that they should do a best documentary award, which they don't do.
What?
Yeah, Globes. Yeah, they don't have a best documentary award, which is weird. So it's just like they do foreign language and they do anime, but no documentary. It's like, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, screenplay is, we got Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. We've got Ronald Bronson and Josh Safdie for Marty's Friend. We've got Sinners. We've got It Was Just an Accident. We've got Sentimental Valley. We've got Hamnet. Once again, I think all these have a good chance of being nominated in their respective categories at the Oscars. I don't know if anyone's got anything more to say about these.
This is going to be one of 3 Oscars that Paul Thomas Anderson's going to win. He's going to win director, he's going to win screenplay, and he's going to win picture.
He's going to win adapted screenplay, though.
Yeah, adapted screenplay. Yeah.
So somebody else is going to take the original.
Yes.
But
exactly.
but he is going to take, and that's why I think Jafar Panahi could still win the screenplay category, but like for original or something like that. And I think that, you know, this could wind up at the Globes being an Anatomy of a Fall situation. Remember where everyone was like, Oppenheimer sweeping, Oppenheimer's going to win screenplay at the Globes, and then all of a sudden Anatomy of a Fall went and took
because of foreign bodies. Because it's a foreign body.
So I think there's a chance that either Sentimental Value or It Was Just an Accident could win this category at the Globes.
Good point. All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But next up, we've got Best Director. We've got Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. We've got Ryan Coogler for Sinners. We've got Del Toro for Frankenstein. We've got Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. We've got Yahim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. Which is interesting because it's 5 of the 6 that was in the critics' choice, with the exception of Josh Safdie being replaced by Jafar Panahi. And so it's definitely showing there's at least 7 directors that we could see at the Oscars. So 2 of the 7 is probably going to miss. And I just don't know which ones it would be at this point. I think it's just a really strong category in general. But anyone with anything else to say that we didn't say when we talked about Critics' Choice?
No, I mean it's basically we know who's going to win this, and by Panahi getting in here, you made the point of the crossover between the 2 bodies, and now we got it narrowed down to 7. Basically, you know, you could. If you said more, I mean, you could say more, but it's really not going to be that big of a, like you could say a Clint Bentley, but then it's probably not going to translate. So you're right, Malcolm.
But moving on to supporting actress, we've got Emily Blunt from The Smashing Machine. We've got Elle Fanning from Sentimental Value. We've got Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. We got Inga Lillies for Sentimental Value. We've got Amy Madigan for Weapons, and we've got Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Notably, no Run Me for Sinners. It was they went Emily Blunt from Smash Machine, and it was, and that was the reason why I think that maybe she's the one that ends up getting missing out, because she was the one that missed out at the Globes. But not that I'm predicting Emily Blunt to get in, just because that's why I'm predicting Elle Fanning, Ariana, Inga, Amy, and Tiana to be the 5 at the Oscars, because those are the 5 that at the moment have commonality between the Critics' Choice and the Globes. So yeah. But any other thoughts on this? Or
yeah, what is it with the Globes and Emily Blunt? What are they doing? What are they doing with Emily Blunt? Where is this love of Emily? Look, I like Emily Blunt. I'm going to see The Devil Wears Prada 2 when it comes out. I'm sure she's going to be good in it. What is going on with Emily Blunt and the Globes? I don't get it with them. This is weird, right, Wolf?
It is. And I just got to say this. This is probably the hardest I have ever been mad at myself over something, because ever since January, literally, like when the start of the year happened, they had like all the little awards or whatever that you could do on Awards Expert app. I had Emily Blunt in my Golden Globe predictions that early on. And then literally just this like past week or so, I decided to take her out for the Sinners girl, because I thought that was where they were going to go. And I have been kicking myself so upset now, because it's like if I would have just stuck to my normal guns that I had when I was predicting this back in January, that I would have actually been able to get this category. Right?
Look, Emily Blunt at the Globes is the Diane Warren for original song.
Yeah. Good correlation.
don't bet against it.
Yes,
that is true. I mean, you could also say the same thing about Jodie Foster, though, and she missed, which was kind of surprising because she's also beloved at the Globes.
Was she in a T? Oh, that she was in the North, right?
A Private Life or something. Was that
detective show from True Detective North
True
Country
Detective,
or whatever?
Naiad. She won for other stuff too. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, Jodie Foster.
I mean, sorry, Kate, you have to gotta keep going.
Of course.
But for Best Supporting Actor, we've got Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Paul Mescal, Sean Penn, Adam Sandler, Stellan Skarsgård. Same as the critics. We've said our piece. It's going to be 5 of those 6.
Not Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it is. But moving on to Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. We had Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You, Cynthia Erivo for Rift for Good, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Chase Infinity for One Better After Another, Amanda Seyfried for Testament and Lee, and Emma Stone for Begonia. Dan, what are your thoughts for the actresses in musical or comedy?
Yeah, because they split these into 2 groups. You got to figure a way of how do you split the 2 groups and combine them into one group. I'd say, oh God, I'm seeing Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue on Sunday. I have not seen it yet. The other ones I've seen all of them. As of right now, I'm going to say, if I had to take 2 out of this to combine with the other group, I definitely take Cynthia, unfortunately, and Kate Hudson out. But other than that, I think it's a good category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping to see that the mystery movie on Monday is going to be Song Sung Blue. People are predicting that the mystery movie that's coming Monday is going to be Song Sung Blue. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited to see it. And this is, I think, going to be most of what your Oscars are going to be. You're just gonna take out Kate Hudson and a few of those other weird picks. I was right. I was 6 for 6 on this. I got all of them right. I just thought like this is how they would go, for comedy musical specifically.
But Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. But I didn't have much thoughts for Best Actress. Like a lot of the ones I kind of expected anyway. But Best Actor in Musical Comedy, we've got Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, George Clooney for Jay Kelly, Leo for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice, and Jesse Plemons for Begonia. But Wolf, what are your thoughts about the Best Actor side of things?
I got 6 for 6 on the actress musical and actor musical because, yeah, these were all the ones that I went with, and great on the Globes for nominating some performances we know won't get nominated at the Oscars, like Lee Byung-hun, so good in No Other Choice, and it's just like, and I'm so happy to see him in this lineup. Like this is such a great performance. Jesse Plemons delivers maybe the best performance of his career in Begonia, and he's not going to be Oscar nominated, so I think it's great to see him pop up in here and such. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Globes does stupid Globesy stuff, but then sometimes they'll also do like stuff that's like really cool or really like, oh, I'm glad this person or this movie got its moment, you know. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Timothy Chalamet is on a 3-year streak of being nominated in musical comedy at the moment, because he was nominated in 2024 for Wonka, he was nominated in 2025 for Complete Unknown, and now he's nominated for Marty Supreme. So watch out for him if he's in a movie next year. He's probably going to get nominated in musical
although he did lose those other times. So,
No, didn't he win for? He lost for Bob Dylan.
Yeah, he lost for Bob Dylan because that actually competed in drama. They had it compete in drama and he lost to Adrian Brody. So
that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
He won the SAG. I remember he won SAG, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. I kind of meant to say he was in a 3-year streak of being nominated. I kind of misspoke. But I wouldn't have considered Springs a Complete Unknown to be a musical or comedy. I know weirdly people like to consider music biopics to be musicals. I'm not one of those people.
No, it competed in drama that year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I misspoke. But he was still nominated 3 years in a row. So that part of it is still fact.
Yeah, Wolf is right. I mean, 3 of these guys aren't going to get into the Oscar 5. It's George Clooney, Sayonara, See You Later. Oh, I love the guy from No Other Choice to get in. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. This is Timmy. Timmy's going to win his Globe this year. Go ahead, Malcolm.
But moving on to Best Actress for Drama, we've got Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, we've got Jennifer Lawrence for Dom I Love, we've got Renee Winsby for Sentimental Value, we've got Julie Watts for After the Hunt, we've got Tessa Thompson for Hedda, and Eva Victor for Sorry Baby. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they split, where they go for this, because I wouldn't be surprised if the Oscars really love Hedda to really give it some nominations, or if they really love her performance in it, to give it the nomination. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get Jessie Buckley or Renee Winsby in the Oscar 5.
Those are the 2 that I think are going to for sure.
Exactly. This is Buckley's category to win. I'd be shocked if she doesn't win. But like you said, Malcolm, Renee Winsby, she's been really picking up steam over the last 5 or so years of her career. That'd be amazing if she could win a Golden Globe. With this body, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it's Buckley.
Yeah. And Wolf?
I first off, I want to say, because it was rumored for a while, but there was no sources online confirming it. But it was rumored for a little bit before the nominations came out that Sorry Baby was going to compete in drama and not in comedy musical. No sources confirming it, so people didn't know whether to put it in comedy or musical or whether to put it in drama. So people were just kind of going off their whatever they feel it should be in. But I'm personally happy that it got into drama because of the subject matter. I am not going to give away, because even the trailer doesn't give it away. I'm not going to give away what it's about, but the subject matter of that movie
it's not really funny.
Is not really a funny subject matter. So I'm really happy that it got into drama, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. And Eva Victor, it was so good in it. So I'm so happy that she's in this category alongside everyone else. And man, what a list! These are all fantastic performances. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. I'm not going to go a long tangent on this, but I said in the group chat, I was like, when it comes to these award things, if a movie is listed as both comedy and drama, which Sorry Baby is one of those, I think no matter where it lands, I think it's fine. There's obviously some weird ones, like The Martian getting into comedy and stuff, but I think it's really hard when a movie is listed as a black comedy / drama, because it's a lot of people are going to lean towards one way or the others. Like, dude,
and Get Out as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, moving on. Best Actor Drama, we got Joel Edgerton, Oscar Isaac, Dwayne Johnson, Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Moore, and Jeremy Allen Wright. Look, as much as people want to see it, we're not seeing Dwayne Johnson in the Oscar 5.
Jeremy Allen White, we're not seeing either anymore. That movie's dead. And Oscar Isaac, I don't think we're going to see like a lot.
No. But it's one of those ones like even Michael B. Jordan or Wagner Moore may like. I think Wagner Moore has more chance than Michael B. Jordan, but it's going to be interesting to see it.
I will say I am kicking myself a bit because I had Oscar Isaac in and I took him out to put in because of this specific voting body and how sometimes they can be weird and have that weird pick in there. I took him out to put in Russell Crowe for Nuremberg. I thought that maybe they would have gone that route, but they didn't.
But moving on to Best Motion Picture for non-English language, we got It Was Just an Accident. It Was Just an Accident. No Other Choice. The Secret Agent. Cinema Valley Surratt and the voice of Hind Rajab. We talked a lot about the foreign language ones today. It's like it's probably going to be 5 of these 6.
Well, the voice of Hind Rajab. Keep an eye out for that. We didn't talk about that in Critics' Choice, but keep an eye out. I'm supposed to be getting a screener this week for that, and I already have a review on the website. It's a very, very, very good movie. So keep an eye out for that.
But moving on to Best Motion Picture Animated, we've got Arco, we've got Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, we've got Elio, we've got K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Army of the Character of Rain, Zootopia 2. Once again, I do think the 5 is probably going to be Arco, Elio, K-pop, Little Emily, or Zootopia 2. But I wouldn't be surprised if Elio misses and Demon Slayer sneaks in because it getting a Golden Globe win has kind of given it a little bit of legs. Whether it's got enough to get that momentum to get into the Oscar 5, I don't know yet. Once the Annie Awards get nominated, get announced, we'll probably see a good indicator of where the animated categories is going to go.
And keep an eye out for, because the Oscars, I don't know what it is, Malcolm. Maybe you could correct me on them, but they have this bias against anime, and a lot of really good anime movies have been shut out of the Academy Awards over the years.
Boy in the Heron just won.
Yeah, that did win. But like Demon Slayer, Neja 2, these are great movies. I don't see them getting into the 5.
It's one of those ones like I would argue that they actually don't have as much of a bias against anime as you think they do. Because
really,
over the years we've seen a lot of anime get in. Like Studio Ghibli has gotten in quite a bit.
Studio Ghibli,
yeah, but I mean, okay, be sensible. It's not straightforward anime. It's
neither is Neja 2.
Hand-drawn animation.
Neja 2, isn't that like 3D animation basically? It looks like it's 3D.
It's anime.
It's from the trailer. It looks 3D, not 2D.
It's anime.
Right.
Yeah, but I think what we're saying is I think Studio Ghibli is still pretty much anime as well. It's like I think for all the intents of the word, that's still anime. It's
like to me, Demon Slayer is more what I would describe as anime. But that's I mean, we're getting a bit of a tangent here. Scarlet is another one that's anime. But
yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. There's quite typically a term anime. It's pretty much just means like it's animated movies from Japan. I think is the So anime is pretty much is defined as Japanese animation known for unique art styles, diverse genres, and often adapted for manga. Which yes, you are right on about Demon Slayer. Like that is definitely anime, but it still defines Studio Ghibli because Studio Ghibli is all Japanese animation, so that's all anime.
Okay, right.
Bruh, I'm sorry to break it to you. That is not anime. That is not anime. That anime is what Demon Slayer is, where it's like completely hand drawn.
That's China anyway.
Yeah.
It's
But
it's an offshoot of anime, I think.
But anyway, moving on.
That right there is anime. That kind of hand drawn style.
But moving on to the categories, which I've found really interesting. So best motion picture musical comedy, we've got Blue Moon, Begonia, Mighty Supreme, No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vague, One Battle After Another. And then motion picture drama, we've got Frankenstein, Hamlet, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. So it's one of those ones like, yes, there was definitely some outliers like Jay Kelly not getting in, Train Dreams not getting nominated, Working for Good not getting nominated. In fact, no musicals were nominated in the musical or comedy category. So those movies may not be as strong as we think they are when it comes to Oscars. As I said, like I still am holding out some hope that like Record for Good still like can do it. Once again, for a lot of these, we won't know for sure on how they're going to go once the PGA nominations come out. Like PGA will be a big indicator of what movies we're going to see in the Oscar lineup and what ones are probably dead in the water at that point. But the Globes has done a good job maybe pushing some of these other ones, especially the 4 foreign language movies, like It Was Just an Accident, Secret Agent, Cinema Value, and No Other Choice, into the forefront and showcasing them a bit too. So, and depending on if you want to call it a foreign language movie or not, Nouvelle Vague
It's
as
French.
Well. Oh yeah, it's French for sure.
Well, there's one of those. It's one of those interesting ones because it's a co-production with America as well. So they're both kind of in production. Well, yes, it's French language. It's still
because of Netflix. That's where the co-production of the United States comes in.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's still one of those. It's still co-production, but yeah. But then, what are your thoughts about the 2 motion picture categories?
Yeah, these are good. I mean, I want to bring up a point that I forgot to bring up during the Critics' Choice. Is a movie I think is one of the best movies of the year, and I think both of these bodies, Critics' Choice and Golden Globes, have dropped the ball. I think it's in a country, in a world, in a place where we're really kind of have a lot of negativity and stuff like that. Where is Rental Family? I'm just really upset about that. I think this is clearly one of the best movies of the year. And I think both of these bodies are dropping the ball with Rental Family, not putting it into some of these categories. I think it's and obviously I'm only one person, I mean, I have my own opinions and whatever, but I feel like this is a movie that's a feel-good movie that you could, it's unnecessarily feel. Who cares? It's feel-good. It has a great message. It has good subplots, great performances, but other than that, I mean, I like these categories quite a bit. I mean, obviously, one battle will win. One battle will win the one category. And I think the other categories is up for grabs. I mean, it could be any one of those movies. Probably one of the Neon movies. I'd be shocked if one of the Neon movies didn't pull up the upset in the other category. But I think it's one battle after another in that one category.
Wolf, what are your thoughts about the motion picture categories?
Yeah, I would also say let's look out for Hamnet and drama too, though, to win. I could see Hamnet just taking it.
Good point.
That's
good
also
point.
like
you make a good point.
that's a runner-up. It seems like in picture.
Yeah.
But I do want to say something that I have been saying for a little while now is that I am seeing, and this is the start of it, this slow kind of build up for Blue Moon. that is really starting to build. And Sony Pictures Classics is great at getting nominations. Look at I'm Still Here. Nobody put that in their prediction.
Yeah, but they don't win. They do get nominated. They do get nominated, but they don't win.
I know that. I'm not saying it's going to win picture, but I'm saying I would not be surprised. Do not be shocked if you wake up on Oscars morning and like the 10th and final slot went to Blue Moon, like for Best Picture. Like I'm just saying there is that possibility now because of the Globes, and I think that because they are that great at getting nominations, that they can do, and everyone's like, oh, but what's the package? You have to have a package, and it's like the package is Ethan Hawke, and that it doesn't need more than that because
maybe screenplay.
Maybe screenplay. Look at the past years before. Selma literally only had Best Original Song and then Best Picture. It's like that's literally all I had. So it's like that sometimes you can have that one Best Picture nominee that like doesn't have a package and it just is still in there. So I think that one could sneak in there. And then also Nouvelle Vague. If I was drinking coffee during the ceremony, I didn't have time to make myself coffee. I probably would have straight up spat all over my computer screen from that.
But you have to remember, this is a foreign body, Wolf. They're gonna champion foreign films.
But I get that. But at the same time, why was it not in foreign language film?
Because you only have so many slots.
But it's in Best Picture. Like, you think Sarat or Tale of Hing Rajab would have not made it in.
I mean, does Globe do that same rule of one per country that the Oscars do? Because it was just an accident. It was in that International Fives, and that would have been the French pick. So if they've got that same rule, then that's why Nouvelle Vague can get into that.
Good point, Malcolm.
International, but there's no rule saying that it can't be nominated in other categories because of the Americans of Netflix pushing it. So.
Both Linklater films got in here.
I know the Richard Linklater
2 different categories.
A good day, like he loved it. It was in the same category, comedy.
Oh, in the same category.
Yeah, comedy and musical. Both Richard Linklater musical. Both Richard Linklater movies got in there. It completely shocked us, but
he's definitely going to the Golden Globes.
Oh yeah. He's having a great time. He's popping all the bottles and everything because both of his movies got in there. And also, I want to say I had Train Dreams in, but in the back of my mind, I kept on saying the Secret Agent. I could get in because of the Brazilian voting body. And now I'm bummed I didn't go with it. And now it makes the conversation real interesting because are we going to have 3 international films in Best Picture? Like, it makes me wonder now because with the Secret Agent doing that well here, if Wagner Moura truly is a threat to possibly win, that could come with the Best Picture now. So
yeah, agree.
Yeah, the last thing I would say is like Globes did a good job of shaking out what might have been looking like to be a very predictable Oscar race into making things really interesting. Because as Jonathan said in the chat earlier, like he thinks that like at least One Battle, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty's Film, Cinema Vote was just in it, and Frankenstein are pretty much probably going to get in. But it's one of those it's one of those ones like things are interesting because maybe one of those miss the Oscars, maybe a whole bunch of those miss the PGA, and like PGA shakes it up more. It's like so we won't know. I don't know when the PGAs are getting nominations are coming out, but that does bring us to the end of going for this week. We'll probably be back. The next episode will probably be early January because we don't have a lot of at least big awards things happening for the rest of December. If we've got a smaller group, because I think we got costume designers good at some stage. We've got the shortlists at some stage.
Anime.
And PGA
Annie's will be somewhere around Christmas,
January. Right? PGA, SAG, and DGA are all like the first week of January. So
yeah.
Annie's are late December, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's any news.
I'm sorry. I called it SAG. I should have called it Actors Awards. My bad.
Stupid.
in his nominations 2026. So the Annie Awards, it's from what I can see online, they're going to be announced on January the 5th.
Oh, wow. So everything is in January, Malcolm.
Yeah. Everything hit this week in terms of some noms with big award shows like AFI, NBR, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, and then now everything else is going to hit the first week of January.
I'm pretty sure you're right though, because I'm pretty sure typically Annies have used to be around December, so they may be delayed a little bit just to give a bit more break for Christmas and stuff. I don't know, but Dan, where can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me at my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Letterboxd, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, all the social medias, or DP Skip Allen, or from the fourth row.com. Or you can find me my reviews, and I'll have a top 10 list of best TV shows and best movies out at the end of December, on where I am the editor. Okay, I am the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic at FromTheFourthRow.com. I'm over at the Movie Hero Network sometimes. I'm over at the Chasing Labels Network sometimes. I'm over at Wolf's channel sometimes. I do a little bit of Rankum sometimes. I'm over at the Dill Pickle Network sometimes. I'm all over the internet. So you just gotta know where to look for me.
But Wolf, we can be find you online.
Yeah, you can find me on my channel. Here's the Thing. We are going to be doing, of course, a bunch of awards roundtable stuff. You know, reaching the end of the year, we're going to be doing a best films of the year, probably more like mid-January, just to give us all time to catch up on stuff. And then we're going to do a worst films of the year around that same time. We're going to do a most anticipated on January 1st, just to kind of like get ready for the new year, what's to come in the new year. And then we're going to do like a hidden gems, like under the radar type movies that came out. And Austin and I, every year we also do a horror movie roundtable discussion type deal where we discuss like the best horror movies that came out that year and everything. So you guys can look out for that. It was pre-recorded, but this Friday we are doing our drinking game for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, the original, because of the new Silent Night, Deadly Night coming out. And I will have a review up for the new Silent Night, Deadly Night movie whenever that comes out. And then also doing a bunch of other Christmas stuff on the channel as well, getting ready for the holidays and everything. I'm thinking about doing an idea on the channel called "Is It a Christmas Movie?" where we basically just do like a debate show on like stuff that's is considered Christmas movies amongst fans, but like not confirmed, like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, While You Were Sleeping, a few other stuff like that. That could be fun. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang could be fun stuff to do in there. So yeah, that's kind of everything I got coming up.
And you can find me on Tape Reductions as I host Ranking every week. Next week is going to be Christmas episodes of TV shows, and should be very interesting. And you can find me popping up here and there on other places. But that has gone for this week. We'll see you in January sometime. But until next time, bye-bye.